What is going on, people? What up? Yeah. Episode 114?
Yeah, something like that.
114. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, 114. So it's the UNFAMOUS PODKAST. Your boy Sean, Mr. NJ Brick City.
Any harder way.
Just here.
Fuck you, Oz. Fuck you.
First, I don't think anyone can hear you.
Thank you. That's why I keep telling you, stop being weird. Talk regular.
Can you hear me still? No? It might be the mic.
Yeah, it is the mic.
At least
Have a technical.
Anyway, more importantly, Tasty Jake here.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Nancy, I don't have a stripper name, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Fancy Nancy.
Fancy
actually,
Nancy.
Nancy No Pants.
Oh,
That's my college nickname.
I don't think Jake wants to hear those.
I hear it all.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's okay.
It's alright.
But we're back again, yo. Another week, man. How's everybody been, man? What's going on? What's new? What's exciting? What's not exciting? Just tell me something. I need something. Let's go.
Can we discuss the traffic patterns in this city, please? Thank you.
Damn.
John, you want to start it off? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Look,
Get it off your chest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was actually watching a podcast. They were, I guess, the city planner and some other dude, and they were talking about like 100 people per day are moving here,
Damn.
and they're trying to figure out,
how to expand
the city and what to plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really. I fell asleep. Let's just say
Oh, yeah.
they didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to. I don't know how long you guys have been here and what you guys think.
I've been here since 92.
Since 2001. So yeah.
I believe the best way to correct the traffic in Charlotte area is to do construction on 85 every single night. So it takes an hour for people to...
And 77.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna say just nuke the whole thing, but you didn't go there. So
I mean, they've been doing traffic shit before I moved down here. When I used to visit, coming from Jersey down here, it's never stopped. It's always been like, I'm 33.
They do.
So it's been going on for my whole entire life. It never stops.
I realize those companies do those like long-term like plans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it is. Like they're just dragging their own feet, like trying to get the shit done, pretty much.
Yeah.
So while we pay, basically.
That's a good way to put it, Oz. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And you wrote it.
Yeah. Every time.
It was so beautiful for a moment.
Yeah, it's like, it was pretty good. Nope.
That canceled the whole...
So back to the driving thing. I'm sorry. It really pisses me off. We can't curse, right? It's not censored or anything.
Nah, this is
This is in China, right? Okay.
family-friendly program.
Yeah, we don't say words like fucking shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not supposed
I
to say
just-
those words.
Juice.
My
Sluts
mind
and
is
thoughts.
very
Those are
warped, so
bad
I don't
words.
know where I can go, like what my limit is. So
Go dark.
let me know where.
Yeah, that's through the editing process that
censor
Sean
me?
does.
Well,
so we don't worry about that.
if you heard another castmate,
No,
a Jai, then you would know
Oh,
how
yeah.
far we can go.
Yeah.
I was like, cause I'll go all the way. Anyway, but so do you guys wonder like why these assholes think it's okay to ride the passing lane, and then they could see that there's a whole fucking line of cars behind them, but they're like, no, I'm just gonna chill here doing like 10 under the speed limit because this is cool. Does anyone know why that?
Well, I
happens?
experience that more when I'm trying to get to work and I'm running a little bit behind. So yeah, I can totally agree
I don't
with that.
experience that because I pass those people, so
But you shouldn't be passing to the right.
I know.
They're the ones who need to get out of the
Exactly.
way, but I don't, and they don't. So like up north, for whoever's from there, in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, everywhere, there's posted signs that say slower traffic, keep right, and it's illegal to ride the lane like that. It's just used for
Oh, it's
passing.
illegal here too.
Yeah, it just...
Nobody cares then.
No, they don't
Okay.
care.
Got
No,
it.
that and because nobody enforces it also.
Yeah.
And
The cops just like, we don't care.
that's what I see is like
That's what I
a
say.
lack
We don't care.
of law
We don't
enforcement.
care.
Which is weird because I'm very anti-government in so many ways, but at the same time I'm like, do these motherfuckers want to do a job? And I don't know. But then I'm like, no, I can't do that double standard. It's weird.
I mean,
You're in a conundrum.
Yeah, right.
That's what it sounds like, a dilemma, right?
The conundrum.
Rock and a hard place when it comes to that one, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I
You ain't
share
never had that
your
vocabulary, did you, kid? That's
You always surprise
he
me.
fake smart, but you know.
Jocelyn.
nah, I'm
Fake
real
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
He learned that
Oh.
from Sesame Street.
Hey, Terrell.
I read it, but
dog?
finds where I came from.
What is that? Terrell Hauser?
Yeah. Hey,
Hauser.
bro.
You coming out, Britt?
Yeah, you coming to the podcast that you are a part of? I think.
You're kind of.
Dang, y'all not dang
Terrell
dog.
has left the chat.
Piece of shit.
Well, no, he's beyond us now. So
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie though, I do understand your frustration when it comes to the traffic here. I find myself at least 2 or 3 times a day just cursing people out for no apparent reason, and I say this every time. Like, I'm glad I don't have a gun right now because I would shoot people. Because you just look at the way that people drive. Like, what caused you to think like this? Like, why would you do this? Well, you know, I didn't know. So you thought it was perfectly okay to wait until the last possible second for your exit to just switch over for 5 fucking lanes and then
Jersey
hit me.
slide all the way over.
Yeah, and then look at me like I'm wrong for not letting you kill me, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I'm the asshole.
So are we getting all our driver frustrations out right now?
You know,
No, I'm just saying,
one-
like, I understand.
Because I have a pet peeve when one of my pet peeves is when the police pull somebody over. Why is there traffic always over there? Because people slow down and want to see what the fuck going
Yes.
on
Right.
instead of just keeping it moving.
Keep
Well,
it
I think
moving.
I don't know if people understand that he already pulled somebody over.
Right.
He's still not checking the traffic to see if you're speeding or not.
Right.
Like, they
Keep
can't
on
get us
driving
all.
fast.
Right, that's when you go 85, 90, 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's already got someone. Just go.
You know,
And
if
so
I
accidents.
if I was a cop, I'll pull over all those people in the left lane. Just for
I would too. The other thing too is
I'm
that
gonna do it.
motherfucker.
Like, I'm
like I said, if I ever become a cop, the other thing too is that I hate, and it's only in this state so far that I've seen it, is that they let tractor trailers drive in the far left-hand lane.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Like
yeah,
that
that's
thing
yeah.
pisses me off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that happens in South Carolina and Georgia too.
yeah,
must
but
be a
that's
southern
a southern
thing.
thing because
It's a
like
southern thing.
up in the north they don't
You
let
don't
that
see
shit
that.
happen.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
Like you're too slow, get the
He's
fuck
like,
over.
Mm-hmm. They only use the other
Yeah,
ones
the
to
only time
pass.
I've
and that's it.
seen the sign that says trucks can't use the left lane is when there's construction. But outside of that, they be chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we starting off with weeks?
Tell me about your week. I ain't really do nothing.
First of all, I don't like how the fuck you trying to, you know, motherfucker always trying to tell me shit like he know what I'm doing, but I ain't really do nothing.
So I don't think you're telling me anymore. Even though you're right.
Nah, but
I
had
Lonnie. What's up, G?
I had some interesting dialogue with some folks, more on a religious tip, but I'll get into that later on.
Ooh, I love those.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that. But as far as anything else, I'm just chill. That's about it. I ain't really do shit.
Okay. All right, Key. Wow, us, cause those stories.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Let me see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we finished up the documentary. We did the photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Really dope. They had like a little yellow room, like all yellow room, that we took like side pictures in. Absolutely amazing.
We saw the picture.
Yes, melanin and yellow.
Look,
Yeah.
Meant to be. Okay.
look.
Mellow yellow.
Yes.
Like that
Yes.
skin was looking nice.
It's
and
the yellow, dog.
vibrant.
It was
Yeah.
popping in the
Look,
yellow.
we right here. That shit was looking vibrant. I was like, oh,
Oh.
It's
shit.
looking like a chocolate sunflower.
That's it right there. That's the goal.
A chocolate song bar. Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was super cool. You know, it was really dope. I'm excited for the documentary to come out. I think we're doing the private screening in September, and then it releases to the public in October
Please let
sometime.
us know
So
if we can
yeah,
find it.
for sure. And then the young lady that's over it, she's talked me into getting an Instagram temporarily for promotional
You
purposes.
should.
So
Come
I
on
was
now.
like, well, she said she would take care of it. So I was like, yeah, girl, do your thing.
We should take care of our Instagram.
Okay, moving forward.
No, I'm saying like our Instagram needs to be taken care of.
Oh, Joe outside.
Oh.
Told you he was coming.
Nikki, can you get?
Oh shit, I'm not ready. Can
Our
I
assistant
leave
producer
now?
Nikki.
Yes,
over there.
Can I leave before he gets to me?
So
What else?
I'm gonna hold on to this as hard as
I had no other mic.
It's like
No.
what you said. Joe's outside the air sick.
Trying to think.
Terrell, if you're listening, we need a
We need the other mic.
Oh, and then Saturday evening, my roommate and I went to dinner Mont Blanc.
What's wrong?
Yeah, so it's like a.
Sounds French.
Oh,
That
my
mean
bad.
does that mean on white? French?
Yeah, like it's all white party.
Oh.
All white party.
No.
Dinner
Oh,
party.
I've always
So
wanted
it
to
started
do
in
that.
France where they would just like it was like invite only to get a lot of people together, and they just set up like tables in the middle of random places and have dinner and music and shit. And so they brought it to the States, so they have it like here, Atlanta,
Philly.
Charleston. They have it in Philly too. Yeah. So but it was the beginning was a hassle. I was like, hell fucking no, I ain't never doing this again. But
Jeez.
the end was really fun. The DJ was dope. It was like 2.5 hours of nothing but dancing in the street.
So it was like a
Young.
French party?
No, it just started in France. Like
Okay.
it just depends on the region that you're in. Like
Oh,
in Atlanta, hey
What's
Joe,
up, Jake?
in Atlanta and in Charlotte, it's a really black event in Atlanta and
Oh,
Charlotte.
okay,
So it
okay.
just depends on where you are.
I thought that they had some like exquisite French foods there.
No, you actually bring your own
like
food.
French fries or French
What?
toast.
No, you bring your own everything and you set up.
Oh,
Like
hell
you bring your
no.
own
Ah,
thing.
she
You just
gets
French
it. She
fries.
gets it.
I laughed. I chuckled.
So yeah, so that was
Being
fun.
nice.
Saturday was dope.
You sound like
What else? Oh, started with a personal trainer this week. He's
Okay.
pretty dope so far. I can dig it.
You feel the burn?
I definitely feel the burn. I'm also learning that I need to eat more. So,
You need to eat more.
Yes.
Already bigger than a snoop.
yes, I need to eat.
What you trying to do? You trying to get dicky out here?
No, I'm just not taking in enough for the amount of working out that I'm doing.
Oh,
That's
so
all.
is it
Oh, so something that burn.
If you're exercising, you always
And I'm not trying to
burn off.
lose any. I want to maintain, so I need to
Oh,
take in a certain amount.
You
Yeah.
trying to be, you about to be out here being a snack next summer, huh?
Trying to be a whole meal.
Trying to do it this winter. What are you
She's trying to
saying?
have a hot girl winter.
Or a cold girl in there. I don't know which one.
That
is.
sounds like she's
Semi.
dead then.
Nah, it means she's
Okay.
ice cold pimping in her veins.
Okay.
I like that.
I need that shit.
Ice cold. Cold bear's toenails.
What's today? What's today? Oh, and then last night I got some. That was it.
Oh, I like how you just skim past that.
I mean, you know, these one of
Oh.
the regulars.
Oh,
It wasn't. It was
They're
mine.
like,
Did he-
like ladies.
Mine.
did he?
No, it wasn't the main.
Oh,
No.
So he blew your
the main
backy
was
out?
Canada.
If there's cups,
Huh?
everyone wants it.
Oh,
So he
Manny
blew your
Black.
back out?
I think I won this time.
Oh, what? I thought
Oh!
won this time.
I thought
He
you
tapped out early. What?
Huh?
He tapped out early.
Yeah, he couldn't go.
You
for
could
it.
have secret move on him or something.
I don't know if it's a secret, but you know,
You got a special move like a wrestling like.
I got a couple I like.
Oh, she
Oh.
put that guac 5,000 on him and
Put
shit.
that, you know, you just kid put that JK-47.
Damn, bro.
Where does he get them?
It always is on the spot. Always on the spot.
That's why he sits in his car like an hour before the show happens because he
Yeah.
just starts
I
thinking
would
about
actually be here late. That's my first time coming early.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Now that's black people world.
But yeah, outside of that, it's cool. Looking forward to the Labor
I
Day
learned about
weekend.
that
Gonna do some
today.
driving, make some extra money. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
That
up.
was it, man.
Okay.
So what did you do this week, Nance?
What the hell did I do? You know, gotta pay my bills, work.
Thank you. Adulting. I agree.
Adulting.
That shit sound depressing.
I don't even remember. I don't like being put on the spot. So I
Why
don't
didn't
know.
nobody tell us when we were kids that adulting would be this fun?
I think it's awesome. I think all the bills I pay are absolutely worth all of the ridiculous amount of things that I have. So
Well, yeah,
John.
true. It's like I pay bills just to get laid at home.
pretty much, that I have to worry about sneaking from my mama.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
Mama.
I love paying a mortgage for a house that I see for just maybe like a couple hours and then I pass out. That's always
Damn.
fun too.
That is definitely life. And
At least you have a husband.
Oh,
Come
Bria,
on.
yeah, it's Stacey Jakey's wife. I don't, y'all,
Oh.
you never met Bria, have you?
no.
No, you were gone. Bria was our other AP before she abandoned us.
We got a new AP.
She's excited to see
Nikki.
you, Nancy.
Aw, yay.
Bria is Nancy. That's Stacey Jakey's wife's name. Nancy. Nancy no pants.
Nancy no pants.
Oh, yeah.
The nasties.
Actually, speaking of nasty, back in college, I used to
Oh,
run
college story.
a late night radio talk show, and this was before the days of internet streaming and whatnot.
Okay.
So we did use the public broadcasting studio, and it was called the Late Night Tip with Nancy Pants. and it was a sex talk show.
Oh.
Yes.
Let's
So-
find out. You was
So
like
you
that
was like
old
the-
lady that used to be on Channel 75.
Yes, Laura, whatever her name
Yep,
is.
her.
Yes.
So you was like the female Howard Stern or
She was
something.
real-
That
educational.
actually, that's like
Dr.
on
Rules.
campus. People would be like, "That's you," and I'm like, "Damn right, man."
Did y'all probably wasn't interested in this, but Howard Stern did an episode like where he it was like a micro penis episode, and guys came in and they
You know this hap-
graded,
you know this hap part is?
did
I
you see
saw
it?
that.
Yo,
Yeah.
I was fucking amazed, dog. I was like, I didn't even know they came.
Yeah, because it was him. I know Robin was in there.
And it was a Playboy bunny in there too.
Yeah, and it was all like, he's like,
I didn't know they came that small in real life.
Nobody
I thought
really
it was
see
a
that
joke.
penis.
Yeah, that shit was
Like,
a
oh,
joke,
that's
dog.
I had to
Small.
Google it because I didn't believe that was true.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
thing.
it's real. It's a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Dudes was like, yeah, this is my penis, bro. It's like, where is it? Like, dudes
The
have
amount of
vaginas.
confidence that you have to have, dog.
Right.
All my hats come
They
off.
probably
to
eat
you,
the
dog.
fuck out some pussy.
You have to.
Bro, you ain't
Or you
fucking.
can use a strap on. You can use a strap on. It
Oh,
happens.
that don't help me out.
Women use it.
And maintain.
Ah, shit.
Oh, I think that one broke.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Let's
let's
see,
see.
let's
So,
see.
let's see. Speak into it first.
This is a conspiracy.
It's
All the
I
mics
can
around
still
me.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do I have to scream?
Please don't.
I don't want to hear Joe scream.
You want to hear me scream?
No.
No, still the answer is still no. They
No,
didn't
nobody
change.
wants that.
People be like, I say that to scream this. No, we don't
Oh, shoot.
I don't have anything to say.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going to wait. I'm going to save my time.
You got
He gets like a stopwatch.
you
He's like,
got
I
a
don't
you got
know.
weeks. No, we told you he got a whole episode to himself. You got some weeks, bro.
Be like, my time been allocated already.
Yup, you got some time. Don't worry about it. Motherfucker. Go ahead, Jake. How was your week?
It was pretty good. I got good news this week.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well, you look at it like a pregnancy, bro. I already know.
I'm sterile.
I already knew that.
That's good.
Yeah.
You want that?
No one else
Yeah,
is
yeah.
happy, just us.
Yeah.
Good.
Wait, were you aiming for this? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
don't-
wait. How do you consciously become sterile? Like, what do you have to do?
Yeah, I got the surgery done.
Oh, okay.
I didn't just think it, and like I just.
No, but I know vasectomies can be.
Powerful
vasectomies
shit.
can be
So like
reversed,
I took Mountain Dew by both hands. Chucked that.
Stone Cold style.
Yeah, so-
maybe.
Bum, 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 bum,
You
bum.
fucking these kids. Niggas stacking like child support checks.
Just rub it on your body.
That was like, y'all ignorant.
Got a vasectomy? So processing.
I hate you,
Oh,
bro.
man.
Best news.
Yeah, it was the best news.
Best.
So does that
I'm
mean?
happy
Hold on,
for
does that mean you shoot blanks or something?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
How you said? What? Yes, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I thought
Yeah.
he knew.
So this is like the permanent
This
ones.
is for
I know
people
some
who don't know.
are
I'm doing this for the
reversible.
audience.
They are reversible.
Oh, okay.
If you
Alright.
absolutely need to go that route. And sometimes they actually reconnect on their own, so we gotta watch out for that. Like maybe
Oh,
a
okay.
retest in a year or so. Down
So
the
it's like
road.
a salamander's tail every now and again.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Regenerate.
I'm not gonna
Use that as
speak
like
that
sound
into
better,
existence
like,
because we don't want that to happen, but
So if you like having sex, then you like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, I got to go back to the doctor because.
Well, no, if that's the case.
I mean, you
that's
can
a
still
lawsuit,
skeet. You can
maybe,
still skeet
right?
sperm. No,
That
it's
can
not.
happen.
But-
It's
Oh,
natural.
you ski it just don't have no
it's
sperm
natural
in
because
it?
it happens to women too. Their tubes
Ah,
tend to
Tubal ligations,
connect.
yes.
It's the tissue, so it happens to both men and women.
Yeah.
So we just have to be careful. But he tested negative on both, like back to backs you have to get. So I'm like, let's go celebrate on Saturday night. Burn the fucking town down. Woo!
Hell yeah.
He's gonna have like this
'Cause he has no
super strong
issue with his
sperm
tissue.
that comes out.
Oh, no issue with your teeth.
No, because I was calling him Fertile Myrtle for a while because
Oh,
he had the
God.
vasectomy back in March, and it's
Yeah.
now almost September, and he just now cleared it.
Damn.
I'm like, bro, could you jack off a little more? Like, do what you gotta do, get it out.
Man, you gotta dedicate a day, man. Fat Friday.
Supported what?
I,
Support.
I mean, I try to help where I can, but you gotta put your work in too, you know?
Happen Friday, bro. Get it out.
His face is so.
He's like, I'm
hilarious.
so tired of jacking off.
I'm trying to think of.
Can somebody,
Yeah, it was like-
can somebody read the video?
No, I'm good. It was the, I was just like, it was funny, like the conversations that happened for like the last few months of like, Nancy's like, you better spit in a tube and go take it to the doctor immediately.
Oh, jeez.
Like, thanks, honey. I'm like, not a piece of meat.
I'm like, no, that's sexy. Turns me on, baby. That's all you can say. That really turns me on, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least I don't have to like take that risk of taking that sample to the doctors and it spilling out again.
Oh, yeah. It's disgusting.
no.
Oh shit.
We don't want to revisit that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
That actually
like another
happened.
whole nother story.
Yep.
That happened.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
Good times.
All right. So I guess.
talk about spilled milk.
In the car? In the car?
Was that?
In the car?
Oh, no.
No,
The
no,
nurse
at the doctor's.
At the doctor's.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Good timing.
Yep.
What?
Come on.
Josh had a good question. He wants to know if you still skeet the same. Is it light skin
Yeah.
skeet or is it
Now, when you
white?
skeet, does it have
What?
sperm
Milk
in it?
out.
It
Is
It's
still looks
skin
the
milk.
same.
That shit almond milk.
You can't tell the difference.
Look
It
at
looks
Okay,
exactly
that's
the same.
different.
This is whatever. Does it taste
I mean,
different?
that doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm only familiar with
Curious.
one
Because you
sperm.
can't see
That
the
2% milk
sperm
right there.
in
I don't
your
know.
junk.
It was
Like,
for a while. It was like 2%, but now it's down.
Oh shit. Okay.
I hate y'all.
when you have your sperm, like let's say in your hand or whatever,
Yes.
I don't know, your semen, your jizz, you can't see the
Not just
spermies.
jizz.
No.
No, so it's the same thing.
I've
They're
never
not
had
there
sperm.
now.
So hold up, you saying
You've never had sperm in your hand?
No.
Look, not your whatever.
Wow.
No. We're gonna just breeze past it.
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you
Breeze
bust
past it.
into,
You
when
ever had
you
to
look
face
at
your
it,
hands
it
first?
still looks the same.
Oh, man. Let him finish.
so wild, man.
Like, Jesus Christ.
You had that Yammers glove, bro?
Josh, go.
I definitely had that.
Elmer's glove? Where?
I actually got it in my eye once. That was not okay.
No,
I thought I was
same.
gonna go blind, dog. I was so fucking
It
scared.
was
No.
painful.
It makes your sight better.
No.
It makes your
My
sight
eye
better.
was hurting for like the entire night. The
Oh,
entire
It
night.
man.
burns.
Like
It was,
LASIK.
and I told him, I was like, if you laugh, we will never fuck again. You better not laugh.
Nigga just said it. What's that slate?
So hold up, you had one eye closed the whole time? Like you had to...
Like I could open it, but it would hurt when I blinked. Like it just felt really painful, and it was so unexpected because like I was giving him head, and I lifted up because he was about to finish, and it got under my glasses and into my eye. I was like,
Buddy was backed up.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dog? Like,
Okay, wait.
fuck.
For his defense.
That shit is
You don't need no defense.
That
That
shit,
nigga's
no.
happy
I'm just saying.
as hell. What? My bad.
That shit sounds sexy as fuck to most dudes. Like we be like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like 'cause that's the shit we be seeing on porn.
Yeah,
So
and when it
we
happens
like to
on
try to
live.
recreate it for some reason.
On the face is one thing.
In
Okay,
the
on
eye
the
is
face
a-
Oh yeah,
is
we
fine.
don't know it
In
got
the
your
eye
eye.
is a blooper.
I don't
In the
mind
eye is a
face.
blooper.
Cool, do face.
Yeah, we
do
don't
my
know.
shit. Let it run
Fucking
down.
blooper.
That's cool.
Yeah, we don't.
Don't get it in my eye. That shit burns.
Hold on,
Mine
hold on,
has
hold
its
on.
own ecosystem.
But hold up, to be fair, like when we're in that moment, it's hard to...
I mean, it was really.
It's kinda hard to aim, like,
I wasn't mad
it's
at
like,
him.
oh, shit.
Like it wasn't like he was trying. I mean, I
Nah, it'd be
moved
funny. He'd be
it.
like, oh, I'm about to come. Hey, what's that right there? It's like, my eye. Call me Machine Gun Kelly. And just walk
I'd
away.
fight him.
You know what would be funny
But
though?
you gotta
Like,
see him first.
Oh, I could see. It just hurt, but I could see.
Like, ow.
Okay, dog.
you know, it'd be weird
I wasn't
though.
ready.
It'd be weird, like if you skeeting on a chick and they get in her eye, she got the one eye, she just start talking in pirate talk, like, mighty.
It's over after that.
You missed me.
I got scurvy now.
Scurvy.
Blood flow
Wow.
done. Blood flow done.
I got.
I'm about to go.
Wow.
Y'all can finish.
You can call me Captain Jack Sparrow.
You got it done yet.
Bria said, man. Bria said, ooh, Nancy, a big old freak.
Ooh.
Nancy
yeah.
the Stallion.
What's his
Stallion
name?
voice, dog.
What's his name?
What's who?
What's his name?
Oh, Jake is like cotton balls or something.
Oh, cotton ball.
That's his moniker. His moniker.
Oh,
What's
Tasty Jack.
Tasty Jake?
Tasty
Yeah.
Jakey?
Oh, Tasty Jake. Cotton balls is his stripper name.
Oh, Cotton Ball?
Oh,
Oh.
alright, man.
You don't make any money that way.
Yeah, he had to change it to Tasty Jake.
Oh, wait up. Haas, how was your week, bro?
Joe didn't even.
Oh, I didn't even know what Joe went. Yeah, my bad.
Joe.
Yeah, we were still talking
Don't
about
skip over me.
I'm just saying.
Well, we're going to tie that into your 30 minutes there.
It was a great. It was a.
Pass your lunch break.
He gonna get tired of this one day.
I'm tired of y'all, motherfuckers.
That's
I
fine.
love. It was a great week. I reserved my time.
Oh.
Damn. Here you go.
All right, guys. Yep.
That was Joe's week, guys.
Yep.
That was Joe's week.
Appreciate
I
it.
mean, it's not a lot.
Appreciate it. How was your week again, Joe?
It was damn.
No, I'm not saying it twice. I reserved my time.
All right.
But it was a good week.
That was
I can't complain.
Make sure this shit works.
Oz, you good,
Nah,
man? You're good, Oz. Trust me.
Jake want to go get some.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering.
My week was a sweat, you know.
Talking to this mic.
This one is still good.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my week was a sweat.
Thank you, Jake.
What did I do? Oh, last week, the reason why I wasn't here, my parents have been together.
We didn't ask.
Your parents have been together.
I'm like, we didn't ask about, man, shut the fuck up. Anyway, thanks, kid.
She
My
gonna
parents
talk
have
shit
been
later.
together for like 40 years.
Oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
Married for 32.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
So I give them props for that, you know.
Shout out, man.
That's your goal, right?
Yeah.
She never pays attention to you. She's too like,
No, she pays attention when necessary. I've seen a couple episodes where she sit up like,
Yeah, she give him that look like,
say
yeah,
something.
we're going to talk about this after this show.
I wish this motherfucker
She
would.
waiting.
And I'll be like,
You know, I just be
Yeah,
throwing
like,
that shit out.
Nick, you know I was just playing, right?
I'm gonna sit out of
Alright.
this. I ain't gonna say nothing.
he's like, no, I didn't really mean it.
When I get home, she beats me.
Okay, this guy's dark.
Anyway.
Everybody has their kinks.
I'm not king shaming.
Now we have king shit. What the fuck?
We gotta keep up with all these terms. But anyway, this week, what did I do? Actually, shut up, bitch.
Ooh.
Anyway, yesterday, I went to Concord to help out your wild friend, Ryder.
Oh, shit.
wow.
Not Ryder, come insider.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
I just-
wild boy himself.
I just built his PC, so
Oh,
he's
shit.
on that PC game now.
Oh, nah, he ain't about to, no, he about to use that to get these hoes.
He's gonna use his PC
Can't
to get
you
these
use
hoes.
your
Oh, no, he's about to, like, he's already a wild boy. So he's about to get more hoes now. That shit's about to be ridiculous.
All we're doing is playing video games.
Oh, he's playing something, all right. It's called Fuck Goose.
Oh, God.
Call
He's-
that booty.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Advanced Warfare.
Oh, God,
Oh,
don't get
okay.
started on this shit.
Exactly.
Mortal
Alright.
Kombat.
Grand
Tell
Theft
that
Auto.
one.
Yeah, Mortal. Oh, you talking about Mortal Kombat?
Oh,
bro?
yeah, dude.
Yeah, about to give her that Horpian. Shit. Exactly.
All right.
Oh yeah, come
Did I
loud.
come to?
What did you come to?
I'm not gonna laugh at y'all. I'm not fucking laughing at y'all. Dog.
Don't act like that.
She holding it in.
Yeah, I know. Don't act like that.
She holding it in. It's okay.
Come on. Anything else?
Other than that, other than hanging out with my beautiful girlfriend now.
I like how you slid that in there, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up.
Hey,
Look at her. She over this. Oh, she over this. She got
That's how you keep on getting
I'm about to
her,
say you gotta get your brownie points when you can. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do that.
She over there blushing and shit.
It's either that or you gotta eat butt. So you like, I don't want to eat butt right now. So I'm just saying nice things.
Yeah, you
Don't
got
ever
groceries,
stop.
bro.
Don't
Like you in
ever
Publix.
That's it.
Don't
He said
ever stop.
consistency
Yeah.
is key.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely.
But that's
Eating
it.
what? No?
Have you ever seen that?
Eating
What?
what?
The dude Vanessa eating ass. She's like, I rate eating ass like a 6 out of 10. Did
What?
you ever? Oh, you guys have to YouTube that shit.
Yeah, Jesus. There's some things I have not seen
And the
on the
dude's like,
internet yet.
he's like, I guess from Africa, he's got the
Yeah.
accent. He's like, Vanessa, like, who asked you about eating ass? It's so
I
funny.
actually rate it lower than that.
Damn.
Oh, eating ass is 6 out of 10?
I rate it lower than that.
I've never
Oh,
done
I don't
that, so
really
I don't
do
know.
it.
Oh.
I rate it lower.
Okay.
Would you like me to eat your ass?
Whoa.
Okay.
Inquiry minds want to know.
Wait, so now she jumped up for that shit.
Side
Said
conversation.
She jumped
you're
up like
right.
that. She talked.
So you're a
She talked
trooper.
sex life and
For asking.
asked questions.
Yeah, pretty
Bro,
much.
really?
Wait a minute.
What
Yeah.
happened happened to
Someone
you?
has to ask the important
CNA.
questions.
Someone
around
does
here.
have to ask the important questions.
What was his response?
He said,
nah.
Thank you, Jesus. No. Just the gooch is fine. Just the gooch.
Speaking of Jesus, I've
Gucci
learned a
man.
lot about Jesus since living here.
You alright? You alright, man? Replace him.
That's-
First of all.
Oh man, I hate y'all.
This mic works. Can you hear me?
Yeah, actually,
I
I
can
did.
hear it.
Maybe it's meant for joking. You know?
I don't. Yeah, I think you have to be loud.
No.
No,
What are you trying to say, Jay?
Actually, no, I can't hear you anymore. I can't. I don't know. It keeps going in and out, so we gotta do
Okay.
something about that.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. Well, I'll tell.
We'll keep them.
well, I'll pass this to y'all.
Yeah, we'll keep them.
Oz can speak into it like a normal person. Maybe we can hear him, but you know.
You will never fall.
Share mics.
Okay.
Did we hear that?
No, nobody heard that shit. Nobody cares. You bitch!
I'll
Y'all
plug
are
it out.
so
Who said that?
You guys are so
Such a
disrespectful.
slut. So, my week was pretty simple. I don't really have nothing to add to it. Went to the movies, saw Ready or Not. Great movie. Thought it was hella
That's the one I
funny.
want to go see.
If you go see it, it's funny as hell.
Okay.
I like it. Me and Tiara, we loved it. Something special happened yesterday though. I won Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. Let me
Yeah.
go $20.
How?
He said,
Yeah.
I didn't vote for you.
That's not how-
Votes? Like you take votes
That's
at
not
the end of
how
the
it
year?
works.
I'm
That's
sorry,
not how
isn't
any
that
of
like
this
being the
works.
smartest retard in the class?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I'm like,
Hey, he was proud of it until you said that.
Except this retard gets $500.
Oh,
Hey,
bones.
bam.
I said what I said.
But
He said,
nah,
"Hey."
it was, you get nominated for it, and then you know they'll just go ahead and look at it. But you know it was cool. It was nice. Nobody. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
nominate you.
Bria says she don't like eating butt or getting her butt eaten. She just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
Noted.
Where is she saying this?
On YouTube.
Is she? I don't see her saying nothing on there.
Oh, I see.
Or you have to be in the live chat.
Yeah, you got
I am in the live chat.
Oh.
Oh, I see it now. You nasty.
The cocoa peach.
She don't want that peach 8, I guess.
It can't compare.
She want that apple eight.
Shut up.
It can't compare to that.
I guess. I wouldn't know. I don't
Are we
know.
still talking about fruit or no?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm talking about me being.
I'm-
If we're
I'm-
talking about
I'm-
fruit compared to body
I'm-
parts, yeah, we are.
I don't.
Get that eggplant.
There you look. There you go.
Eggplant
Oh,
emojis.
Just the way he says it.
Yo, Joe's face right now
shit.
is just like devilish.
Like a black quagmire.
Black Mire.
Man,
He can like niggity,
Joe-
niggity, niggity, niggity.
Okay. Moving on. Like I said, I got employee of the month, so that's dope.
Two white people quietly get up and leave.
No, this is actually not that bad. Usually when they start talking about like shootings and stuff like that, they all start slowly turning and looking at me. It's usually when I
Oh, Jake, stop shooting people.
It's gonna start in a little while. Don't worry about it.
You don't have on black shoes and khaki pants, so you good.
Yeah, you don't have the uniform on right now. You're good.
You're not profiled.
It is joking.
But
What's the khaki pants?
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, please don't get Joe started.
Not yet, no.
Let's talk about that later.
You know, like in the last minute.
Employee of the
so-
week
Right,
Well, of the
employee
month,
of
so
the
yeah.
or the month.
So what do you plan on doing with your reward money?
That's what I was gonna get into
Yeah.
next. That's going towards me and Tiara's cruise.
Oh, sweet.
So we're taking a cruise, and this cruise is actually open to anybody who
You
would
doing
like
it
to
next
go.
year?
Yeah, from the 10th of February to the 15th. Yep.
Oh, it's like a Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
in.
cute.
Honestly, if anybody wants to go, like,
If you're going to the Caribbean, count me out.
okay.
Where to
That
stop?
was really rude. I apologize for my wife.
The
No, dude, the
Bahamas.
Caribbean sucks. Let's be honest here.
Bubba Clyde.
I never been there.
Yeah, I beg to differ on that one.
Different.
I'm
Maybe
from the
it's
Caribbean.
response, but
Every island looks the same. Every stop we make, I'm like, you know what? I just about had enough. There's got to be other places.
I've
to
never
visit.
been, so
I don't know.
Pretty much most of
So,
the America.
this
or-
cruise.
I'm about to
goes-
say everywhere on the coast pretty much looks the same.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. Yeah, till you get in deeper.
Yeah.
This cruise goes from Jacksonville to Nassau, Princess Cays, and the Bahamas. So I've never been on a cruise before.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's nuts.
So-
Do
Me and
better.
Nancy really.
Do better. Bahamas is ghetto.
Oh my god!
I'm sure
just
it
let
is.
Go.
Oh,
Man. You already chose.
That's correct.
Nassau is ghetto. You know what? Enjoy the trip.
That's correct.
That's correct.
If you want to see Kentucky Fried Chicken in another,
Do they have
on
a
the
Popeyes? Do
island,
they have a Popeyes?
they might have it by now.
Well,
You
I'm
got
there.
that chicken sandwich.
And abandoned lots.
Somebody come up like,
And gates, just the
Emma,
gates, just the
hey,
gates.
There's lots of
And
gates.
the
The
women
gates
will start.
cool.
They
I want
Is
to
that to
Popeyes.
keep people in or out?
I want a Popeyes chicken
Keep you
sandwich
out
and
of
some rum.
regulated areas.
Oh, word.
Not yet. Nassau definitely is not.
they gonna come out of nowhere and be like, hey man, hey, got the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Like, there's no Popeyes here.
Bro, they stopped serving that last
stop.
week.
Exactly. It's like, stop. Look, bro, that's a Chick-fil-A bite. Exactly. What the fuck? But no, I mean the money's going towards that, so that's cool. You know, I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, like I said, it's just been a regular week. I did do something yesterday, but we'll talk about it on the podcast because that's one of the topics I wanted to talk about. But let's jump right into it head first.
Oh.
Kia, let's go.
So
Oh, okay.
you have how many topics? You have all topics on display or what?
No, no.
You have one?
I just have mine. Then.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
I
just
have
have
mine.
mine. No one.
And then I don't know
Yeah.
what you have, Joe.
Can I just hear what everybody has first before I start?
Joe.
I don't know.
You're first. You're
Bro,
first.
No,
you get
no,
a whole episode.
You can't change
I
the
was
format
asking.
mid podcast.
No,
Like, I hear what y'all say, then I'll go now.
I'm just curious.
Okay.
Just say the
no,
topic.
Well, I just
Only
wanted
the
to,
topic.
the
Rainforest.
burning and the rainforest. There's been Amazon. There's been a lot of talks about that. A lot of things being circulated on social media.
Such
Sade.
as.
What's up, Sade?
Because I'm saying I don't know
Couple
much
things.
about it. But
So it's been going. Well, I can't say how long it's been going on, but the first article that I saw that was reported by BBC News, which is the only one I follow. I knew y'all were gonna be ignorant. Was on like July 2nd or whatever. So that's the first time that they reported on it.
Today's news.
And it's still going on. So the biggest issue that people have been saying, I'm not even paying you any attention. That's why
Let Oz go ahead and talk. You know, leave Oz alone. Fuck that. What did I say? She gonna tell you shut the fuck up later on.
And that's my right shit. So anywho, one of the biggest things I've seen going around is, Amazon produces 20% of the world's oxygen, which is true, but it does not produce 20% of the oxygen that we use as human beings.
No.
According to
Facts.
the article that I read from scientists,
Not
basically, no, not Scientology. All of the majority of the oxygen that the rainforest creates, it takes back in for the organisms living in that ecosystem, also for the plants that are growing as well. So it nets about 0% of the oxygen that we take in as human beings. Not to say that it's okay to burn it. I'm just saying stop circulating that shit around.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
But I love the fact that people don't realize too is that that's natural. Forest burned down.
Yes, and that is the other part. So it is natural for fires to take place in the Amazon, especially when they have drier seasons. That is natural.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are more occurring now than last year. And a part of it is the farmers and the miners and people that are going in. And it's not that the president has said, hey, go burn them. But what he has said is, well, we probably not gonna persecute them, which is essentially yes, go burn them. So they're gonna, because they're gonna, if they don't feel like they're gonna be prosecuted, then they're going to burn it for whatever they need to use it for or what have you. So that is the other issue.
Do you know if they have any idea what happened to cause the fire, or was it just like?
So it's a lot of small fires that are taking taking place all over, but the area that it's covering is larger than the percentage I think that they compared to in 2017 and in 2016. So that's the concern that they have. And they think that a part of it is, it's not just natural, but the human beings that are setting fires as a result of the laws being laxed against people who are setting fires. The president did refuse to receive funds for helping to put out the fires.
the president of
Where's the Amazon?
Is it
In
Brazil?
Well, Brazil,
Brazil.
it borders 5 countries.
Okay, all right.
Maybe
The
like-
Brazilian president, though, right?
Would it be a president or do they have a prime minister? I don't know how that works.
President.
He's a
Yeah,
president,
okay.
yeah.
Or president.
It's like a democratic dictatorship, you know?
Yeah.
So those are just a couple things that I felt like needed to be cleared up because I'm tired of seeing things being circulated
Oh,
on
okay.
the internet. So yeah.
Amazing.
So Kid, where does 80% come from? Only 20%.
Believe it or not, saw this in the article. Plankton actually
Exactly.
produce the majority of the oxygen that we
Science.
take in as human beings.
Science.
Yeah. So really, he should be concerned about
But pause.
whales eating fucking plankton.
But actually, at the same time, so most of the dust that's blown off the Sahara Desert, right,
Mhm.
goes towards the Amazon rainforest, and that area right there is pretty much where most of the sediment settles in the water off the ocean and all that kind of stuff. So the plankton mostly eat that, those minerals. And
Your brain hurts trying to sound so smart.
It's reading.
Duly noted. Duly
Smart
noted.
ass.
So actually, do you know Africa is pretty much what created the Amazon rainforest?
No.
Yeah, no, like all
No,
the
I'm just sad I didn't know.
Huh? What?
No, go ahead. You.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I mean, most of the like when all that sand blows across the ocean, it settles in that area. So pretty much,
Oh, so seeds
Creates-
and stuff like.
yeah. No, like more like it's fertile land because all the minerals from the sand in the Sahara Desert. So
Well, thank you, sir.
I just watched
Fun fact of
something
the
on
day.
Netflix,
Right?
and it was kind of crazy how it works. It's kind of,
Hashtag science awesome.
Fuck your smart ass. But let me see. What's that documentary?
it's on. Is it, didn't me and you watching it?
Look, I watch documentaries.
Is it Life or something like
Documentaries
that?
are cool.
I'll find it and I'll
Man, you share that shit.
I
to
like
me.
conspiracy
Netflix.
ones, but maybe I'm crazy. So.
I like that too. So no, I'm on the same with you.
Oh,
I like
sweet.
watching anything.
I'm
Yes.
hooked on dope documentaries right now, so yeah, on
I
Netflix.
finished-
I actually watched.
Guess what? Me and T finished them
Yeah.
last season.
Did you see the one where they were talking shit about the cops and then the cops busted in and
Yo, okay.
I didn't see that.
Yo,
what are we talking about?
Quick sidebar, and this is just real quick. So there's a show called Dope, and it's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about them just like selling dope. And the premise
in
is
different areas.
you got a
Like-
camera. This is what T was trying to figure out. Like, is there a camera crew following these motherfuckers, or is it
Yeah,
just?
so there's different angles. So you have the ones where they have the cameras in the cars with them, and they're like it's like a confessional thing. But then there's also cameras like at the house, and they're like filming and shit.
Yeah.
So the one where the guy got busted, they were actually set up at the house, and they were talking
So-
about, oh yeah, the cops make it so easy for
This
us
is the
here,
funny
and blah
part.
blah blah, XYZ. All you heard was, boom, get out, get out. He was like, oh man, I don't have nothing.
So this is the funniest part about that whole show, right? Every episode is always some guy selling dope or transporting dope or making dope, and then the cops be like, "We have a hot lead on somebody."
And it's
transporting
never the
dope."
same
And
guy,
it's never the
y'all.
same guy. So it's like they always just get away, right?
Yeah.
And then you be sitting there thinking like,
Maybe
how
I
the
should
fuck
sell
you-
dope.
Like, exactly. This is the last, because me and T, like, seriously, we are watching this. She like, I don't believe how these motherfuckers is just really out here just getting away with this shit. Because that was the episode when they was in the Netherlands. And just to give y'all FYI, the Netherlands is wild as shit.
Yes.
Like, they are wild.
I mean,
over
isn't
there.
it?
Yo, this dude just talking like
He
cold
was
cash
talking
shit.
mad
He like,
both
y'all,
of them,
I
mad
worry about
shit.
more about my enemies than
Than
the
the
cops.
cops, yup.
Man, they don't know what's going on.
Yup.
He's like, oh shit. He's like, I don't know nothing. They're like, shut the fuck up.
The question is still,
Was that a Dutch
I
accent?
gotta watch this.
like,
Shut the fuck up.
I would shit myself if I was just the cameraman too. Be like,
Bro.
And that's why
it's a show.
But I know when it happened, they were like, yo, that's it right there. That's what we were waiting on.
Yo, and I'm sitting there like, oh, it happened. I'm like, baby, it happened. And she was like, oh yeah.
It was very satisfying to watch.
It was.
That
That
shit was
show,
hilarious.
bro. That shit.
They instantly turned bitch made, which made it even
Exactly,
funnier.
like, you realize pussy. Like, cut it out. But like I said, it's so weird because the whole time T's just like, it's no way in hell that these dudes are in the car with a cameraman telling them about how they do this, showing them this and that, and just getting away with
But
it.
you know who be extra serious? The cartels. Like
Oh, yeah.
in the Hispanic country, like they be like, hey, I'm only talking to you because so and so said I could, but I'm only
Yeah.
gonna answer certain questions because
And
I ain't
plus,
trying to
it's
get
almost
killed,
like they're
so-
giving themselves like advertisement by doing it. It's
Like,
weird.
yeah.
It probably it
It's
might be
it's a
semi-recruitment.
cool
Like,
documentary.
I mean, but it reminded me of a show called Moonshiners where they was like, they
Yeah, I
be in
remember that shit.
Yeah,
Virginia
but-
and shit. They be like, yeah, in a secret remote location, this is where they make the moonshine. And then in the next clip, it'd be like, the cops be like, yeah, we trying to find location of these moonshiners, and I'm like, so on one end they're at a remote location, and on the next scene the cops are looking for somebody.
Oh, you know, I always
It's a
wonder.
great show.
I always wonder if like the cameraman.
But they
snitches or
always
some
say.
shit. I'm like, are the cameramen snitching or some shit? Like, what the fuck is going
Well, at the
on?
beginning of the
football, we went over there.
episodes, at the beginning of the episodes, they talk about keeping the anonymity for their safety, but and for everyone's safety, they talk about keeping the anonymity.
But it makes it, to me, it makes it fake, more fake realer. I ain't gonna say fake because it might be. But when they at least have a mask on or they burn it. And moonshiner, they were just like out there, like Billy Bob and Joe, like, I know we are making moonshine. I need some corn and some mags. Fucking police can't stop. We got
They're like, way back in West Virginia where they're making moonshine. And then you be like this, oh shit, it's Josh.
I be out there with the mason jar. Oh, this shit ain't no good, bro. This shit cloudy, bro. You gotta take this shit back, man.
Throw that shit out, good.
You gotta throw that shit out, cuz.
No shirt.
TSA uniform and shit. Like, bro, what you doing out here?
We're trying to find out where he distributes from and where the
I be out there chopping up dope with my cider bag. I don't give a fuck.
Oh God.
Back to the
These niggas too wild.
Yeah.
back to the Amazon.
Back, yeah. I mean, well, that was all. I just wanted to educate the people in case you were wondering. Yes, yes, it's still burning.
Yeah,
It is still burning. Scientists say that if it continues to burn at this rate, like every year, it'll still take 50 years before we see an effect, like overall.
Yeah, we
Damn.
With our system. So
we're not gonna see.
I mean, okay.
It almost sounds like Pete.
It sounds just like Pete.
Science.
Scientists say many things.
I mean, yeah,
Many
it's
things
all
have been-
hypotheses.
Many things have been said by
estimations.
scientists that I could say have been refuted. But I would say that you're talking about 340 million people that live within the Amazonian regions, within the 5 countries, right? You have many of the pharmaceutical companies that get their medications from places like the Amazon, because that's where the medications come from, right? So when you burn a rainforest at a level of 550 million hectares so far, which is like 550 million soccer fields times 2, so a hectare is about the size of 2 soccer fields. So imagine 550 million of those being burnt, right?
Bro, I don't even know what that is.
Bro, my eyes just glazed over.
So imagine two soccer fields in your mind,
hectares?
right?
What's that?
A hectare is like you know an acre, right?
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
So hectare. So now you take the prefix hec, right? Remember from
Which is
like
8?
geometry school?
Yeah.
So eight times that
Got you
is a
now.
hectare, right?
All right, now.
Now 550 million
Okay.
of those
All right,
have
gotcha.
been burnt. So it's just the space and time.
So you gotta do 550 million times 8
Time.
acres to really
We've got
Exactly.
time
To
travel.
get the level of
Okay.
devastation.
Right, I got it.
And they're burning to the ground, and the people that live within it. And 50 years from now, what you might find is those same people will be wanting and begging for handouts because their whole ecosystem has been.
I mean, yeah,
Has,
no different
you know,
from other countries.
other countries but that's the point. It happens. It's happening before your eyes again.
Yeah.
Again, it's not the only fire going on. If you recall from this summer, when damn near Europe was on fire with 120-degree temperatures.
Oh, I
Literally.
thought you were talking about the
Yeah. I mean, well, that
was-
and forest fires and other things around the world. But it's
California
like
stay on fire.
I mean, Alaska's on fire right now.
mudslide.
it's like a mudslide
They're always
on
on
fire.
Yeah,
fire.
it's crazy.
So it's like what man doesn't do. Just the earth is at a certain
I
point.
gotta burn out
I mean,
all these
you know.
motherfuckers.
That's right.
Fuck off me.
Everything has to come to an end at some point, so
Circle of life.
might as well live it up.
Yeah, we're only visitors
I was
here.
about to say,
Only
it's
visitors.
not
Only visitors here, but it's still precious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's all I say.
Okay. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? Anything else, kid?
Nah.
Not at the moment.
What was your topic?
Oh, I mean, no, because the other.
I could come back to you, man, if you want. I mean, if you want, I thought
Yeah.
in the group chat you said you had something else you wanted to talk about.
No, we said we were going to talk about squirting, but let's talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
other
we'll
things
talk-
first.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
Squirt.
Let's
Squirt.
let's do that.
Your topic was better than squirting.
That is not
I don't think
fair.
I don't think no.
Fucking
That's a
no.
lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure to put on
All
that
it
man.
does is
Nah.
food
What about it?
Squirting.
What's your topic?
Squirting food.
It's like, is your topic better than chocolate-covered lesbian sex? Like, no, I don't think so.
It could be.
Hey,
Ask me that. Ask me if my topic's better than
His
squirting.
topic is space.
Yeah.
Go ahead, my bad.
Fuck everybody. So yesterday, for the first time, I watched the new Chappelle stand-up.
We're watching that.
Oh shit.
If you haven't seen it, it's fucking good.
I would
Right?
watch it.
Now, this is the thing that I've been hearing about it, because Tiara watched a little bit of it before we watched it together last night, and she was like, people are saying this dude is about to get canceled for the shit he says, and I was like, but this is me. I'm like,
That's why
ooh,
Netflix
I
hired
can't.
him.
No, they're
Yes,
just
exactly.
gonna send him back to Africa. That's all.
God.
Wait, no, that was, you know what I mean? Like he was in Africa.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
we
what I mean.
got
Not going anywhere else with that.
We
I'm
got
about
what
to
you
turn
said.
into
Joe.
jokers now.
Hashtag white people.
All right, hold up. Hold up.
Oh, hold on.
Joe didn't say that. I was surprised.
You know
I'll
what it's like. I'll make this quick.
Jesus.
This is the time I wanted to say with my introduction. How my week? I'm taking that time back with it. That was like that was like.
I knew what you meant.
That was like Chris Paul giving an alley-oop to Griffin.
Lob City, baby.
Lob City, baby. Don't worry about it. I got you.
You going.
Go ahead.
Right when she said it, I knew I had to like slowly hand the mic. Like, I know you have to fight for this one.
Like, Jay's like,
She slipped.
No. Then we talk about this in the car. It's gonna be nothing but black people there.
No references to Africa, Popeyes, or Jim
I am a Popeyes fan.
Popeyes. Watermelon.
You just joking.
Okay, all right. Dave Chappelle. Let's bring it in, guys. Dave Chappelle.
So what everybody was saying, because like I said, was saying he said a lot of offensive things, but my biggest thing when it comes to comedy, if it's not offensive, it's not funny.
Correct.
The whole point
Thank
of
you.
comedy
Yes.
is to offend you in some type of way to get you to
make
look
you
at
think.
it.
Yeah.
So you can like, okay, I ain't got no choice but to laugh at this because it is funny. Like, you know, that's what makes you a smart comedian.
Yeah.
I'm without giving a lot away, because there's a couple things I can read, like some of the jokes that y'all might get. And he was like, you know, he starts off by saying, tonight I'm gonna try some impressions out. He's like, I don't know how to do this. And he was like, the first one, yeah, he has one. He's like, he's like, it's like for the founding fathers, and he said, so hurry up and finish that Constitution, nigga. I'm trying to get some sleep. Yeah, and the shit.
I saw it on World Star. Yeah,
The shit had me crying. Cause I was like, yeah, that's not about right. And then he's like, the next one's a little harder, right? And he's like, hey, if you do anything wrong in your life, I found out about it. I'm going to take everything away from you. And I don't care what I find out. It could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're fucking finished. And nobody knew who it was.
That millennials?
And he was like, somebody was like, Trump! And he was like, that's you, stupid. Like, that's all of y'all, like, you fucking idiots. Yes, because, I mean, he has some wild jokes, like, Michael Jackson came up.
I heard he talked about abortion.
He did. He
I
did.
gotta watch this.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
don't know if they have to think about
Tonight.
that.
I'm watching that shit
Tomorrow. You off tomorrow, right?
So,
I'm working tomorrow.
but it was so good. But the jokes that he did about the LGBTQ, like, those jokes were hilarious.
That's probably
And-
getting the most flack.
Well, no, that's
Can't wait.
usually those are the ones who, I mean,
People are
nothing
bored.
against them, they usually get mad about those jokes, and it's like his biggest thing is like, why is it okay for us to get jokes, everybody else to get jokes? We can make jokes about everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's like,
opportunity, dog.
like you
Everybody
get
get
it too.
jokes.
And at the end of the day, like, why would I single you out by not telling these jokes?
Right.
Yeah.
Nah.
Like,
everybody can get
Everybody's gonna get these jokes.
Shit, he talking about his wife's ethnicity. You think he really give a fuck?
Really don't.
I'm like, come on, dog.
Yo, when I say this thing, it goes. I'm even reading all the stuff that goes on. He talked about a lot. The funniest thing to me, when he's talking about Jussie Smollett.
Oh man,
This is. I don't want to give it away, but
I'm gonna watch it.
I can
Watch
only
that one.
imagine.
No, it's funny because of the way he kept saying his name. I want to tell y'all so bad, but I don't. Yeah. Fuck it, I'm gonna say that. So he's not calling him Jesse. He's like, yeah, that dude, Juicy Smollett. This shit had me crying. I was like, wait, Juicy? What the fuck?
Juicy J? Hey, they got Juicy.
When I say that, but the one thing that I did want to talk about, as far as with the special or with comedy or anything like that, I feel like, you know, you had Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying, getting brought up about the whole, that was homophobic, and this and that. And it was a joke. I find it funny. Yeah. And it's like, when do we get to a point when we can go back to just laughing? Yes. Like, it's comedy. Like, it's not supposed to be PC. Yeah. I don't get it. It's like, if comedy satisfies everybody, it's not funny then. There's no jokes. It's like, hey, any gay people in the crowd tonight? Yeah. Okay, so first joke, I'm happy that you like, being with another man. That's it. Right. That's it. They're like, what the fuck just happened? I don't want to offend them. It's like, it's not funny.
There's too much political correctness in the world. In America, well, I don't know the world, but in America, there's definitely too much politically correct.
Definitely America.
You know, definitely America. I don't know when we got to that point where everything is
just recently. It was I would say 2 years,
maybe 2 or 3 years. Because I mean, for a while, everything's been kind of cool.
Yeah. Because nobody says the word faggot. Nobody says the word retard. Like those words are taboo now. Like
that was when it first started. I still say it. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit.
But I'm talking about for paid celebrities, like on a stage or in a movie or whatever. Like they don't say it. Like for everyday people, we can say it. But
people take shit so personally.
No, fag.
I say retard how many times a day?
Yeah. When it comes to those types of words, if it's offensive to that group of people, I don't have an issue with not saying it. Because if somebody said nigga to me, we could fight. It's a possibility.
And guess what? Look, but he has a joke about that, about the whole thing. And when he said the joke, I was like, that makes sense. Because he was like, why can't I say that? Oh, because you're not gay. No. He's like, yo, people be like, so. Why is I'm not a nigga, but y'all still say that too?
Yeah, I read that joke.
So I was like,
I mean, no, he's not a nigga, but
I'm
he's
like,
associated with a group of people of darker skin.
And I understand that, but I'm like, at the end of the day, because I mean, I remember I grew up with my grandparents, so those are words that they just said.
Little bro was in the house.
You brought some 40s?
You got some 40s guys?
You got that thank you.
You got the 45s on Mickey's guys?
He got that 10 minutes.
Oh, just to let people know who probably hearing this, Ozzy's brother walking in. But no, like I said, and I agree with it. Like, if that word is offensive to somebody, then I'm not gonna say it to them. I'm not gonna say it around them. Cool. I mean, I can respect that. I can respect your agency. It's cool. Yeah. I just feel like when it comes to even when like comedy, bro, I'm not mad at a comedian saying that. I'm not mad at it being in a movie. I'm not mad at that stuff.
I think it would just depend on the context. Like, if there was a blonde-haired Aryan white man comedic on stage telling a joke that involved the word nigga in the wrong way, bro, I'm not going for that shit.
Oh, you talking about like, what was your boy? Kramer? Yeah, him when he was just wilding out.
Oh, I don't know anything about. Only thing I know about Kramer is his show.
No, he did.
He did stand up and he was.
Oh yeah, I never watched his stand up show.
Oh no, he never did like a stand up show. He had like stand up because he was trying to do stand up, and he was just he was like niggers, and he was wilding out because I guess he was getting heckled because he was kind of trash.
Oh, so he was like,
he kind of just kind of went off.
See, in that like that shit, that's not okay. Yeah, that shit not okay. So that's why I said I can understand how if those words are offensive, I can understand. Depending on the context, why it shouldn't be used. Like, I get it.
But I don't know. I've heard certain comedians say it that weren't black, and they had a joke with it, and they said something about it. And I was like, that shit was funny as fuck. I was like, I'm not mad at it. Like, I can't get mad at it.
I feel like if it's coming from a hateful place, you can tell.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like if you're clever, right?
If you're clever.
If you're clever, you can get away with it. You can, right?
Yeah, you can.
I love how you started that one.
I get away with it all the time. Right.
With what?
What up? Get away with what?
And just in
calling me cracker.
Different job. I've called. To be told, on our job, I've called somebody that.
Yeah.
No.
Is that as offensive? Is cracker as offensive as nigger? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
I'm a little salty sometimes.
See if you did that.
I think it really depends on the people. people because me and Jake are the type of people that we don't get offended and you can call us whatever and we would just be like whatevs. Like
when you just said, what's your name again? First name?
Nancy.
When Nancy said that about Africa, right?
Oh.
I wasn't offended.
No, I wasn't offended.
Because it sounded like a joke.
Yeah.
But I'm not offended by the word nigga anyway, because it's like, I'm not one. So I don't even, it like goes right over me.
He was legit in Africa.
Yeah, he was.
You know what? Listen, if you want to hear
voluntarily.
Yeah, that's the sad part. He went on his own.
No, but I'm saying that's my point. Like, even in my regular life, right? If somebody told me how they felt, like that's who they were, I'm never mad at them. It's the ones that hide it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm an energy guy. I don't care who it is. It don't matter if you talk to me. If you gotta. I know people that have 2 Confederate flags in their trucks, right?
Yeah.
But they'll send their child to a school run by a black dude,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen that in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son's school, the whole organization is black. But in the parking lot, it was like blazing trucks. I'm like, at the end of the day, look, you know what the symbol means, you know what the symbolism is, but it's like, I don't really give a damn about that. It's about all the more insidious shit that goes on that's really hateful that I pay attention to. The N-word and all type of shit, I don't give a fuck about that because I'm not. So it's like, and then some of those words with the LGBTQ community, some words were good for them to say to each other 30 years ago or 10 years ago, and now today,
or 5 years ago.
But now today, we're not called that. It's like,
things change.
It's like the
we
Wiz.
went from being called colored to black people. Things change, and that group is allowed to change it. Like
no, it's cool, but you shouldn't demonize anybody for saying something you called yourself 5 years ago. Like for me, if my grandfather was called colored, and he raised my father, who was a great man, why the fuck do I care if somebody called me colored today? Why? I mean, in your mind. But what the hell? But if you knew what those words meant in the first place, it's like all of it is bullshit, really. Because it doesn't give you any nationality. It doesn't tell you where the fuck you're from. It doesn't get down to the nitty gritty in the first place. All of it is nonsense. Like somebody calls somebody white. What the fuck does that mean? Most people want to get back to what am I? Russian, German, Irish. I'm this. I'm from this tribe. Like. You know, I know my grandparents. I know my grandparents. I know my grandparents' tribe, and it wasn't in Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most of us have both, right?
You give the words too much power.
Yeah, it's too much power. But it's like, what's going on behind the scenes? So.
Well, listen, catch me on the wrong day with the wrong word, and you can catch these hands the right way.
That's
just what it is.
And that's the thing though. Like, it's perfectly okay for that way. Also,
is that free?
Absolutely,
well,
it's free.
I advise everybody to
with extras.
Listen to Dave Chappelle's early when he was younger, when he has a joke about how white people came up with the word nigger. Listen to that shit, and that shit is hilarious. Like, I don't even want to go into it, but just look at it on YouTube. Like Dave Chappelle coming up with the word nigger. Just look at that skit right there, and it sets up a lot of things like what he. You know, what you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, like, I get where, I mean, I'm one of them people, like I said, I'm not easily offended also. Like, things don't really get to me. Now, I don't tolerate disrespect, though. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference between being offended and just being disrespected also. So, yeah, somebody might be like, oh, nigga, da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. All right. If I hear somebody, you know, oh, man, that nigga's wild over there. I'm like, all right, you know, you might want to stop saying that because somebody might fuck you up. That's all I'm saying. Like, you might catch the right one and they pop you in your shit. But I'm not one of them people.
That was what he said in his last
But
special.
if you disrespect me with that, because I'm like, I just don't tolerate disrespect. So I don't care if you call me a faggot. That's disrespectful to me. Don't call me that. Don't call me anything that I'm not. I find that disrespectful. But I'm also, again, like I said, one of the people who don't get offended easily. So context always is really the key. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to comedy, which, you know, I feel, you know, is where I want to, you know, where we should still have that openness. Mm-hmm. You know, it's comedy. Yeah. You know, it's not meant to hurt. It's always meant to, you know, lighten a situation, or at least, hey, let's take some pressure off. Yeah. You know, hey, let's go ahead and try to laugh about this. Let's try to do something, because I'm like, the same people who, I find that offensive, but you laughed about 80 million other jokes that
right.
somebody else might find offensive that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
So why do you feel like you're special?
Keep it the same across the board.
Keep the same energy. Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Yeah. One of my criteria for a comedian, which is just me personally, is kind of like a rapper. If a rapper can't tell a story, I don't really take him serious as a rapper. If you're just spitting out random shit. So to me, for a comedian, if you're able to educate and make me laugh at the same time, that's when I consider you a great comedian. You're just spitting out random shit, like how we was talking about the Mike Epps shit. Like, it was silly.
No, it was funny, but it was
wasn't
random.
Like the Wonder Sykes special, Not Normal. That was a great stand-up.
That was really good.
She educates.
Yeah, she did.
She educates and she makes you laugh at the same time.
Well, she makes you think.
And she makes you think.
That's all you want from her, Aziz Ansari, all those type of comedians.
Michael Shea's
Michael Shea.
The great George Carlin.
Oh,
yes.
Carlin.
Yes.
Two of my favorites.
He's a legend.
I love George Carlin.
Me too. Legend.
Dude, I love Joe Rogan. Like, people be sleep on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is funny as fuck.
But even talking about
comedy.
So like comedy, even if it's like somewhere where it's not on the stage, but people in your life, if it's close to you, I think it's funny if it's like. Do you get pissed off when I call you Jew all the time?
No.
Or okay, good. Jew bag piece of crap.
Wow. Don't think podcast is
I'm about to say, because you know they strong, boy. They got money.
I don't want to mess with that group. I got to mess with that.
Look, that's my joke. That every time something sounds like it might be problematic, the Unfinished Podcast. Or
got out of here.
I've actually been in a scenario where I was offended by a skinhead, and it takes a lot to offend me, like a lot. Like, I don't give a shit about anything. And this was back in Jersey in some...
Oh, God!
Sorry, it was some little South Jersey shithole little town, right? But I was at a bar with some friends, and I stepped out to take a phone call, and this guy's outside having a cigarette, whatever. He's wearing a white beater, shaved head, white guy. So I finished up my phone call, and I was like, oh, it's so nice out. Let me get some air. And he starts talking to me, and he goes... Oh, so where are you from? I'm like, oh, just across the bridge in Northeast Philly. And he goes, oh, it's real dark over there. And I'm like, yeah, it's nighttime. So
wow.
It's dark.
It's dark everywhere.
And he's like, no, that's not what I meant. And I'm like,
aggressive.
What the fuck is he talking about? And he's like, you know what I'm talking. I'm like, no, I didn't catch on, but he was talking about there was a lot of black people. I was like,
of course.
Okay. I'm like, it's Philadelphia. It's 50% black. I don't know what you're talking about. So, then he looks at me and he's like, you got that nappy hair. You a Jew, aren't you?
Whoa.
Oh. I was like, listen. Then he was like scratching something. He moved his shirt and I see a swastika tattoo right on his chest. And I was like, oh my God, this motherfucker. Like, I was like, okay, calm down, woosah. I was doing the whole woosah thing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm sorry, come again? I'm like, and you got a fucking problem if I'm a Jew or not? Like, I just started with this shit. Luckily, my friend Matt comes out, and he's 6'5", like 300 pounds, like this big guy.
Oh, that works.
And I was just getting up into his face. I was like,
okay.
I'm sorry, what the fuck? You got a problem with my hair? And then he's like, yeah, you also got that nose. I'm like, what? No. I'm like, you fucking Nazi motherfucker. My friend Matt comes out, and he goes, whoa, what the fuck is going on out here? I'm like, we need to go, because I'm going to jail right now.
You have you're just so unfearful of that. You're just like, she has
jail.
That's not the first time.
I'm going to jail tonight.
Nancy just gets
hot
her
to the
shit.
collar, this motherfucker.
She didn't care. Yeah, the Myrtle Beach thing was just.
Yeah.
I told you guys about
you
that.
Told me about that one.
Yeah, that
I ain't scared to fight, but I'm scared to go to jail for it. Listen,
I
ain't even like being grounded in my room. I'm good on that shit, dog.
Like, she won't even think about it, too. She'll just run her mouth, and then I gotta, like come in, like...
You know what's wrong with Jake is the voice of reason.
Right.
Damn.
No,
he
something
is?
going on. Right,
Jake's
exactly.
the voice of reason.
Fucking Jake is the voice of reason.
My mouth gets me in trouble a lot.
Wow, that's amazing.
But with him, it might get you out of trouble.
Oh shit!
Jake to the rescue.
We all got ours.
But yeah, I do agree with you, Sean. I do think that comedy should have a lot more leeway. Yeah. I mean, I do think that is what comedy is for.
Yeah,
I do think that,
like, just don't walk out on the stage. Hey, what's up? suck my dick, you faggots and niggers and this and that. Like, bro, what is like?
Yeah.
They be like, good night.
Good night. Mic drop.
Yeah,
Nope.
like okay, because I remember what's the name? Eddie Murphy had a nice bit about that when he was talking about how he said Bill Cosby called him up to chastise him.
Yeah, I heard this.
Bill Cosby's son went to the show. And he's like, Dad, he said all this stuff and things and stuff, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, suck this MF that, and put my big black thing in your mouth and suck it. And he's like, Bill Cosby hit him up like, you can't say that. And this and that. He was like, yo, Bill, you may seem like, you know, I just came out there and sucked my dick, motherfucking shit. And I'm like I put a joke in there too. Like,
That sounds like crazy.
But you gotta end it. But you gotta end it off with you like, I told Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor said that motherfucker. I said suck my dick. Damn.
Like, you have a coke and a smile. Shut the fuck up. But and that's how it really is sometimes. It's the point where a lot of these people who get offended, they're offended because it's fashionable to be offended.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause I'm serious, like Jay said, when did really this shit get so bad? Cause
I think that a part of the reason why it's gotten to this point is because for so long, people who were considered a part of disenfranchised groups, for lack of a better term, didn't have a voice. Yeah. So now you have all these platforms and people are listening, and it's like, oh, well, now that I got this attention, like, yeah, that's wrong, you need to do blah, 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 XYZ, yada, 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 all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you see it in the black community, too. Like, even, like, when the whole Chris Brown thing happened and he was saying he only liked light-skinned girls, and he didn't say that, but he said something similar to that, and when I heard it, I was like,
why does it matter?
Why y'all mad? Was you trying to fuck? Like, I don't understand. like I was like, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless he's in charge of who gets to procreate, his opinion about who is sexier, it doesn't matter.
Who he chooses.
It doesn't matter. So I think we just have to. It's swung one way, the pendulum is swinging the other way. So hopefully we can find that medium where we understand the difference between opinions that affect us and opinions that don't.
You know, hopefully at some point we can get this good at understanding the coded language, which is far more effective and far more dangerous than like somebody blatantly calling you a name. Because you know, even in our jobs, people got really good at they know what not to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Sometimes I push people to that level, like on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he does.
Like
God, man.
Like what are you trying to say?
God.
I had a manager,
like,
my GM. I will never forget this. My GM at Red Lobster. Fuck y'all.
That shit is fancy.
Fuck with them biscuits. Don't cheddar biscuits.
I don't at all.
That's
You
who's
saw
the
the amount of
nails?
butter that went into it.
Yes.
That's what the ratchets do.
I
They
went
like.
to, so it was like most of the people that were servers there were either like low income and or minorities. So he had a way of talking to them like it would just be very condescending. You know what I'm saying? And because you know, you got kids to feed, you know, you need this job or whatever, like you take it. Now, mind you, I needed the job too, but you're not going to disrespect me. Fuck you and the horse you wore it in. That's how I felt at the time. So this particular day, it was a Sunday, it was busy, you know, people not tipping, typical Sunday shit. And he came in, and I had already stretched myself in to help him out, and he was like, I don't understand. Are you guys not smart enough to handle this?
Bye, bitch.
We were in front. We were in a pier. Like, we were surrounded by people. And I turned the fuck. I was like, who the fuck you talking to?
Yeah.
Can you lower your voice? I ain't lowering a goddamn thing. You brought it here. We gonna do it right here. That's disrespectful as shit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna do that.
Right there.
You're not gonna do that.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna do that. So I ate his ass up right there. You know what I'm saying? I have to let you know.
Not ate his ass, right?
I ate. You're not gonna do that.
Shoot him out.
All of it. Whatever you want to call it. You're just not gonna do that. So I had to let him know.
Not in a good way.
I had to let him know. Actually, he was almost ready though. Like, he actually told me one day, he was like, I don't pay you to think. And I said, first of all, sir, you don't pay me anything because the same person that signs your check signs mine. Let's be clear. And number two, if you didn't want a thinker, you should have hired someone that was in college.
Yes.
Say something like that again and we'll be in front of lawyers. What's up?
Yes.
You and your little kids will be on the street. Don't play with me, dog. Don't do that. So, like... Yeah, I don't do that. I hate that. I hate covert shit. Like, I don't like it at all.
Well, there's a lot of that goes on with our job. So
I call it every time.
Like managers, like certain supervisors, like definitely managers, because we always got that one manager that some be having. No, it's okay. We could, you know.
Yeah,
my grandsons are black. All right, cut that shit.
Don't mess around. Why are you angry?
Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh, this isn't angry.
Someone actually said that.
No,
not
like
that blatantly, but just
no, I've had that and not like on some like this and that, but like it's always something you like. No, I'm with it, or no, I'm cool.
I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah, I understand your struggle. I have black grandsons. Like, what?
Exactly. I be wanting to tell them like, stop doing that, yo. Like,
or they be like, I have black friends. You know,
oh my
like
god!
that shit
I'm
right
sorry, I'm a white person.
Wait,
I can't stand that.
That's why that one manager came up to me. She's like, "Yeah, I have retarded children."
I hate it.
Like the one, like I have a black friend. Why do you have
so what we got next?
Joe, what's up?
Go
what
ahead.
you got on your mind?
I did want to discuss the idea, the Marcus Cousins situation.
What?
I didn't even know there was a situation.
Well,
he got it on 1 foot.
Basically, he there was a warrant issued for his arrest.
For what?
From Mobile, Alabama, right? So basically, he got married last weekend in Atlanta to a longtime girlfriend. His baby mother of the 7-year-old son was asking. I guess this was an ongoing thing, like, will you allow my son to attend my wedding? Okay. I guess she's in Alabama.
Okay.
She moved back to Alabama. So she was like, basically, she started recording the conversation. He was like, I'm gonna ask you one more time. This is recording the audio. Will you allow my son to attend to be here?
Yeah.
She was like, no. Okay. And then he was like, this is gonna go somewhere else. He was like, yo. He basically said, I'm gonna put a bullet in your fucking head.
Oh.
Right. So they then issued they first investigated, figured out it was his voice. It was him.
So was it the warrant? So like terroristic?
It was for terroristic threats communicated over the phone. It's
Okay.
like a 3rd-degree misdemeanor scenario, but it's still like a 6-month thing. Mm-hmm. So this can go many different directions.
What direction you want to take it in?
Well, I would take it in 2 different directions.
Okay. So wait, has he reported turned this in, or?
I just got this alert on my way.
Yeah, I just looked it up too. Like,
it was.
I'm sure they either arrested him or they're going to arrest him.
They're going to, but it's in Alabama, so he has to. I don't know what that means. He's not going to go to Alabama and get arrested. If he ever goes there,
I'm pretty sure the FBI will.
I don't know if it's a misdemeanor.
Nah, they FBI
gonna get an extra day for that. Yeah. But he has an arrest warrant in Alabama. I don't think that's a federal scenario, but it's the idea that, okay, if somebody has children, why does one parent have so much more power than the other to say where the parent go?
So that is interesting.
Then also, another thing is, are people does she really believe he was going to do that, or is she using that as some sort of ammunition?
I would be curious to know what the history of their relationship was like before.
Yeah, I don't know. She said, but from what I've read, she said that he choked her before.
He choked her once before.
Well, yeah. So, I don't know if there's been police.
Football. That's good enough for me to think that he would do some crazy shit.
Basketball.
Play basketball.
Oh, basketball. Oh, okay. I don't know the man. So
I make it go different ways. I mean, if somebody recorded every conversation I had over the phone, I'm not.
They do, the government.
Yeah, I mean, but say somebody
everything conversing with
and it had to do with your freedom and your job, and everybody was recorded. Few people can stand up to that. But I also say that being a father, having children with my wife, and have children with one of my first 2 daughters. Sometimes that kind of thing happens where it's like. You shouldn't have to ask, like, can I please have my child for this very special event, and somebody else be able to say, I could go into detail about something I just went through. So it's like, to me, it's like, is that, it's not really correct. It's like, I kind of want to approach that subject.
So,
what do you think?
I think it's interesting that, first of all, that you brought that, because my brother is actually going through that right now. Like, he's retaining a lawyer to get joint custody of his daughter. Why he chose that baby mama, I don't know. But moving forward, she's here. So, but he's like, I was like, that's crazy to me that the child, you're not born with joint custody of the child. Like, if you're not married, you're not born with joint, like, the mother has full custody of the child when the child is born. And you have to go through so much just to get joint custody. Whereas if it's child support, DNA testing. That's it.
Oh,
that's all they need.
Yeah.
But the other way, I mean, when my brother was talking to the lawyer, she was like, well, if the mother doesn't contest, then this will be short, sweet, and simple. But if she does, then we got to get a mediator. We got to get a counselor to come in and look at your home and her home and see if joint custody is good for the child. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's like,
Fuck?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do what y'all think I wouldn't do.
And that's my brother's thing. Like, he's like, you can do whatever you want. I just want my daughter. Like, that's it. I just want my daughter.
We already have the stigma that we don't take care of kids. And
right.
Shit. So like when I'm trying to do that, why
what
are
the
you
fuck
stopping
is the
me?
problem?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so when my parents got divorced when I was very young, and my mom dropped me off at my father's when I was very young, and my dad took care of me. So my dad had to take my mom into court because she wouldn't pay child support.
Yeah.
So the judges up in PA, they didn't give a shit. So my dad would be standing there, and the judge would just go off on him like, "You're a piece of shit. You should be paying child support." And my dad's lawyer would be like, "Your Honor," she's like, "No, I'm not done. You know, you're disgraced. You know, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should go hang yourself." Yeah. So then finally the lawyer's like, "Judge," and she's like, "What?" And it's like, it's Mr. Delp suing Mrs. Delp for not paying child support.
Yeah.
She looks at the paper. She's like,
"Oh.
Yeah, okay, let's continue this." Didn't apologize. No apologize.
Yeah.
It's sad that stigma is that's the stigma around it. Like, it's really sad. And it's like, I honestly I guess I was naive to the fact that baby mothers could be that vindictive because my mother was never that. Like, my father he was a drug addict, okay? Like, never paid child, ever. Yeah. She had one child, never paid a fucking, like, we've been homeless. We've been all of these things, and never once has my mother ever spoken a bad word about him to me. Yeah. She did tell him he could die in front of me, but that was something different. Yeah. But, like, outside of that, like, if my dad, he could disappear for years, and he'd call my mom and be like, "Hey, I want to come get my daughter for the weekend," and she like, "Okay." Yeah. Like, it was, she just wanted the relationship to be there. And she was the same with my brother's dad. Like, they had the agreement, she would keep my brother for the first 9 years, and then my brother went to his dad for the second 9 years. And that was it. Like, I don't know what I gotta be, all of this rah-rah. Like,
I mean, too often that is the case. Yeah. You know, even in the court system, men are not treated well. And even that's in the case where the mother's not paying, right? Right. So, at one instance, my college girlfriend was pregnant. Her mother decided that the child wouldn't even test for mine. Like, we were actually broke up, but we were still doing our thing. And then she had, like, we broke up because of the mother, though. Mm-hmm. Like, the mother moved her from, like, I was in New York, right? Both in New York City proper. And she was at NYU, right? So her mother moved her to another whole school further upstate to break us up. So we were still finding our ways to do our thing, but after 3-4 months on a college campus, you might have somebody else tapping that. You know what I'm saying? You know how that is. Yeah. But we still doing it. But we still.
I think he just did it to me.
Well, anybody's in college.
He just talking with
anybody's in college. And I turn around.
Look, Nancy got college stories too.
Let's talk real talk. You know what I'm saying? So. Basically, long story short, she called me, "Oh, I'm pregnant, but I don't know who's it is, blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, I want to find out if a child's born, like, you know, the date sound about right. Yeah. Her mother's like, "Nah, it's going to be the other guys," right? So I'm like, fuck all that. I'm going to go to court. and I'm gonna force the test.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Do you know there wasn't even no fucking paperwork for that in the court? They had to put shit together.
For the father.
We never had that. Well, we don't even have that paperwork. Doesn't even exist.
Because they're not used to that.
And then you gotta get 5. You have to serve them 5 times.
They're like, "Did you call Maury?"
Yeah. Maury does this for us. We don't have that paperwork.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Maury be on it too.
So that was my college thing. That went on for a long time, but
white people call it.
I look at it like I look at it like I think it's a kind of a psychological thing. Yeah. Now, I can't speak for everybody's household, but I just look at the differences and say something simple like how we treat Mother's Day compared to Father's Day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like when Mother's Day come around, a lot of households, a lot of people want to take their mom, do something special for their mom, things like that. Dad get a pair of socks,
You shit me if I'm a dad and I get a pair of socks.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying every household is like that, but I'm just saying it seems like most people or households go out of their way to do things for the mother, and the father is kind of an afterthought on his day, Father's Day. I'm not saying it's fair or not, or that happens in every household. Once again, I'm just saying from experiences from what I've seen, and I think it's because I don't know. I guess it's this psychological thing in our country where we just.
I think another part of it is though, and this is just from households that I have seen with 2-parent households, because my shit was dysfunctional as fuck. But what I did see a lot of was usually the father wasn't present. Like financially, shit was taken care of. Both the parents were working, but the father wasn't present in the kids' lives. Like the mother showed up to things. The mother did this. That's what I know. Like amongst my friends whose parents were married and shit like that. So in those cases, I mean, yeah, it was like Happy Father's Day, but I mean, you were there, but I don't really got no memories. I mean, you kept the lights on, appreciate you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I ain't really got no memories of you being there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got my dad shit, and I don't even remember how long. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't there. I get my mom something every year. I ain't got my dad. Happy Father's Day.
But the guy that I talked to, the main, so he's had full custody of his kids and another son that his ex-wife had before they met. He took full custody of all the kids when they left so that she could do everything she needed to do.
This is super negative.
This nigga said super nigga. And a part of that was there was some things that happened to his sister, and he was like, I want my girls with me, and I'll just, do what you need to do. I'll keep the kids or whatever. Yes. So I do. He's the only the first person I actually celebrate Father's Day for. Like I'll be like, all right, I gotta get you something real bomb. You know what I'm saying? Because you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You're a father.
That's something real bomb.
That's
pussy.
Also, isn't there a discrepancy
I had to get that one.
That even if the child is not even yours, you can still pay child support?
Yes, that's true.
That's
if you sign the birth certificate.
And
it's not yours because they think that they're moving in the best interest of the child, and instead of waiting, making the child quote unquote suffer to find the father, they just use the one on the birth certificate.
Now, I wonder.
You get that shit.
That's why, and I always say I would never be offended even if I were. I mean, hormones would probably make me offended, but in general, logically speaking, if my life partner asked me for a DNA test, I wouldn't be offended.
You shouldn't be.
Like hormones would make me offended, but logically,
But I wonder in a case like that, say I'm paying child support for a child that's not mine because I put my name on a birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Then later on down the line, we find the real father. Can I then countersue him to get recouped lost money?
That's gonna be you'll be broke.
I was just wondering.
They have cases like that, but just like a marriage,
I was just wondering.
Just like a marital license, a birth certificate. It's just a legal document. Nothing to do with what the DNA says. Like you're signing, like you get married, you're signing a contract with the state.
That's why I ain't signing that shit.
Each individual person is signing a contract with the state you're in. So the state. So I sign a contract with New York State, and Keith signed a contract with New York State. The only thing that makes it a marriage is the ceremony, right?
Right.
You're married.
Right.
You're married to the state, right?
Right.
So you're
Which is hard.
the state is going to want to push child support. It only applies to people who have a job. If you're a hustling dude, it only apply to you. I know women that got $38 a month in child support because the dude is not working or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be a ne'er-do-well dude, you can be a ne'er-do-well dude, right? But it's like what happened to me recently is that so I have my oldest daughter, 2 older daughters that live in New York, right? So I just visited New York. I visited them, when I was there. All the time. You might hear me talk about going. They were in Tampa, going to New York.
Yeah.
So now my oldest daughter is a little bit of a handful. So she wants to. Her mother wanted to. Now both daughters are mine, of course. So we had just 2 children. She had 2 children. So she wanted to give. She actually went to Child Protective Services to sign her over to give up her parental rights and told her I wasn't in her life.
What?
Now if they didn't call me, she would have did that, right? This is just last week, right? Oh, wow. So now I'm like, they call me. I'm like, who's this? I'm like, yo, that's not true. I'm in their lives very much so. I mean, I don't even know how you get away with that. So now they call me. They're like, "What? We didn't know this." Blah blah blah. So now we have to have a meeting. They call her into the office with my other daughter, and then they have 3 social workers, right, and their supervisor. So I'm on the phone with them, but I'm remote. I'm just on the phone. They're in the office. Everybody else from New York. So I'm like just giving them a rundown. You know, they're gonna go through your whole history. They're gonna go through everything that's going on. Blah blah blah. Now, long story short, North Carolina then comes to my house because that's where my daughter would go. Because like, you don't want her, I got her. You know what I'm saying? So they came to my house that night, that same day, right? Talked to them for like an hour. They looked at the house and, you know, make sure everything is good, right? Do you know the next goddamn day?
Come on, pause. Wait.
This is not comedy.
Do you
This is
know
my life.
listen, do you know the next goddamn day?
I'm gonna laugh because I'm gonna like that too.
No.
That's the best segue.
Life is funny to me, so I don't take any. I'm not offended by it. I actually think it's funny. The next day, Friday, the ACS worker who called me initially calls me back and says, you know, she changed her mind. Now I'm about to set to go to New York Sunday. I asked my nephew to come with me, so it's business. So ain't like I gotta drive there and sleep and shit.
Yeah.
So I need you to come with me. So I do 3 hours, you do 3 hours, you do that shit 3 times. We there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, she changed her mind. We're bringing her back to the house, to her house. I'm like, what? She could do that. You can say, you can lie and all of that and say you're gonna sign your child over and change your mind.
Yeah.
And then forget about. So it's what I'm saying, like, and before all of that, I get married. You know, children really can't be there. The minute I was dealing with all kind of different women before I got married. When I got married,
Playboy Joe.
I'm being serious.
Playboy Joe. Okay.
I was cracking those Yeeks though.
Joey Crack.
Joey Crack cool, I don't care.
Joey Crack cheeks.
I don't care. Let's see it.
I was not prepared, my dog. Like, I was not prepared.
Yo,
every time you gotta, every once in a while you gotta catch them off guard.
I was not fucking prepared.
so I went, you know. So basically, with cousins, that's why I kind of the story kind of rings true. He probably had mad chicks, and it's fine. We got married. It's like she took my phone, like, you know, I'm going over there to see my daughters, and I was like, why I keep hiding my phone? I mean, I ain't with her. Like, we just co-parenting.
Yeah.
When she knew it was, you know what she told me when I first met my wife? I was only dating Keisha for 2 weeks. I walked into the house. She said, she never said it before. This we co-parenting for like, my daughter was 17 and 13. We were in co-parenting status exclusively for 12 years. She said, whoever you're dating now, you're going to marry them. She told me that. I was like, you know what? I might.
I think I will.
I think I might.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all.
No, for real. You know the story. Right?
I'm about to say, y'all ever heard the story of how Joe and Keisha met?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. But
Bro,
like,
that shit is wild.
Yeah, so like, after that, after she started seeing it was getting more and more serious, you know, she didn't want me to like pick them up and plan shit, and I don't want you to meet your wife, I don't want them doing that. So it got really crazy. Where I could see somebody like I wouldn't tell her that, but it could get to that.
So I just want to say to all of the people out there who have had children. Churn, who push them out, you know. Yeah. I fully understand that when you have children with someone, usually, not in my mother's case, she never planned on being with my dad. She just wanted his genes. But usually, she did. Usually you imagine yourself like having a family with that person, and that's often really hard to let go of as far as from the woman's point of view, because that's really all I can speak to. Don't be vindictive, y'all. Don't because it's not healthy, dog. That's not healthy at all,
children should be bargaining chips, man.
But you know the crazy thing about it though is most of the time they either don't have any interest in being a real family with you,
no,
or they're incapable of doing it. or both.
That's
Like some women are just like.
I just know my daddy was a shitty fucking father. Yeah, like she never limited. I wouldn't have been mad if she had limited access. Okay, he was fucking shitty.
Yeah, but okay? I'm saying for what I've seen, so too much of the time, it's not the people that who like. A lot of times, not the one who really tried to be that wife, or even attempted to be the wife. It's somebody that's okay. I'm settled with the idea of we're co-parenting, and 9 times out of 10. If somebody tells you I'm dating somebody that's 2 weeks into the game, yeah, it's easy to say it's nice and I'm happy for you. Because most people are like, they may get married in 4 or 5 years, so it really doesn't matter to me. It's just a glorified dating scenario now, right? But she didn't have any expectation that it would be that fast, so that was her issue. But really, years before that, it's like you're comfortable. You can have your cake and eat it too. Being a wife is hard. Being a husband is hard. So it's like easier. Okay, I get child support from the dude. When I need something, he got me. He's available to me. He might have other women, but I'm good with that because I have access. So a lot of women get comfortable with that.
So maybe it's the change in access that causes the.
That's all it was. Okay. Not the fail. It's the change in access and I'm on the bottom rung.
That's
same thing when Keisha was pregnant. We were making headway. Oh, when she found out she was pregnant. And when she found out it was a boy.
All right.
But I'll go with
I got something I want to say
before
before I get too late.
Go ahead.
But this is what I wanted to talk about. Mine is about, I want to give you a story and I want to ask y'all a question. So this kind of happened to me today at work. We were kind of talking about religion and the Bible or whatever. And one of the guys who do another podcast said he went to the Institute of Comedic Science or something like that.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to Daniel.
And we was talking about the Bible or whatever, and we was basically we got to a point where I was talking about faith. You know what I'm saying? And while we were talking about it, another coworker jumped into the conversation. So it basically was I was saying that a lot of things in the Bible are faith. It's things that can't be proven. And I was talking about slaves, and I was like, we're supposed to trust in God. And I was like, but it's been proven in the Bible that when his people were slaves, he intervened as far as parting the Red Sea with Moses and the locusts and all that to get his people out of bondage. And I was like, why we couldn't get the same treatment? And a guy came up to me like, that's one guy was like, well, do you believe that oxygen helps us breathe or whatever? He's like, we don't know if it's oxygen to help us breathe. I say, but you see people with oxygen tanks. They hook something up to their nose. They're breathing something.
I mean, but there have been scientific tests as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I didn't want to go science. I just wanted to go common sense with it. I'm like,
under the white microscope, you can't see.
Right. I'm like, I don't care if it's called oxygen or something else. It's something that they're breathing that's tangible, that can be proven. Yeah. So then the one guy jumped in. He was like, did you have water today? He said, what did you drink? I said, water. He was like, did you get it out of a bottle? I was like, no. I was like, I got it out of the water fountain. He was like, but you have faith in the water company that is safe. And hold on. Let me finish. Like shit. Are we in point? Hold on. Let me finish. So he was like, you have faith.
Hold on.
You have.
I say that to say this.
So he was like, you have faith that the water is safe. And I'm like, but my argument ain't about it being safe. My argument about it's being water that can be proven. It's something I can feel and drink. Yeah. So he was like, he was talking about some shit in outer space, and he was like, and I was like, like, hold on. No,
somebody else.
Oh, this is guy.
No. Somebody else got in the story. So basically, what I'm saying is, he was like, he was talking about some shit in space. I was like, but you can't prove that because you ain't been to space. Right. So he was like, by your logic, because you hadn't been to China, you won't believe that China exists. I'm like, no, I can catch a plane ticket to China and go there and for myself. He was like,
you can't catch a plane ticket to Mars.
I was like, can you catch a plane ticket to heaven? He was like, yeah, after you die. I say, how you know? That's something else that's faith-based. Right. So, and when this is at the end of the shift, so my thing was, and I didn't get a chance to rebuttal, I feel like truth, trust, and faith are cousins, but not exactly the same thing. Because I feel like faith is believing in something that can't be seen or proven, that you just believe exists. Exactly. Trust is, I can trust this man to do something for me, and if he don't do it, I can prove that he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't get to that, but I, with him because it was the end of the shift. But I just wanted to feel how you guys felt about trust and faith. Do you? I believe they're related. They're like cousins, but they're not exactly the same thing.
I agree with you.
Can I ask him one question? What's your position again on faith?
I believe that faith, my position is faith is something that can't be seen or proven that I believe in still, without any tangible evidence.
So your faith is strong?
What are you talking about?
No.
I said my definition of faith. That's my definition.
But your faith is not strong. Like you don't have faith in biblical matters, things like that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Because I said I preface this by saying, prove to me that something in the Bible existed, or that something can be proven. And I think one of them was like, one of the guys was like, there's proof that Jesus existed. I like, well, there's proof that Saint Nick existed. But Santa Claus is a whole nother story where I know Saint Nick ain't had no 12 reindeers right on a sleigh dropping gifts off. So the man could have existed, but all that shit they wrote about.
Okay.
What?
Oh, my bad. You didn't know, Jake?
Sorry, sorry. Had to happen sometime.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Jake. I'm sorry.
No, I think that you make a valid point in regards to distinguishing between trust and truth. I think that when you from personal experience, when I trust something or someone, it's based off evidence,
right? Past
evidence, or if that trust is broken, it's based off tangible evidence that that thing or this person or whatever isn't doing what I trust it to do, you know. Right. But I also think, because I'm a believer, right, and I fully recognize and understand that is based in faith, and what that means is there is a possibility that I'm fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's a fucking because I can't prove or disprove.
Believe in what?
I believe that there is a connecting force between all living things. I think that we use God or gods or
whatever
any other term for God. I think that is what we use to define it because it's something that our vocabulary can't define just yet. Yeah. That's as far as I've gotten this with my beliefs. And that's just from my own personal experiences. There have been things that I've experienced and I'm like, there's just no other way for me to explain it outside of an unseen force acting on my behalf. Yeah. So that's just my personal belief. But again, I recognize that is a belief and I recognize that I could be wrong. And I think a lot of times, especially Christians, because that's all I know, like when you challenge that.
Oh, they get mad.
They feel like,
for
them to say that or for them to even entertain that, it's like, oh, well, my faith isn't strong. I disagree. I think there's a level of strength or a level of faith where you're like, okay, yeah, it's a possibility, but this is what I choose to believe, and that's it.
Like, you're more agnostic, right?
Have you guys ever heard of Pascal's wager?
What's that?
Yeah. Okay, so it basically, the philosopher, I forgot his first name, but Pascal said that if you believe there's a God and then you die and you go to heaven and God's shining down on you, then, okay, great, you didn't waste anything in life. And then if you were not a believer while you were alive and then you die and then you go and he's there, you're like, damn it. So it's almost like you're not losing anything for being a believer. And then if you die and there is no God and you're a believer, it's a whatever win-win because nothing happened. So I always thought that was really an interesting take on religion.
So what's your belief system?
So I'm an agnostic Jew. I used to practice. Yeah. And then when I started, shut up, man. And then I started researching and studying philosophy, and it's one of my favorite topics. And it kind of brought me to start questioning religion and organized religion. And I almost feel like for a lot of people, it's a crutch, something to fall back on because you're thinking like, well. And my sister's one of them. So my sister went Jews for Jesus or whatever. And she's screaming, if you don't accept Christ, you're going to hell. I'm like, well, I haven't killed anyone. I don't cheat, lie, steal, murder. I don't do anything. I'm a decent human being.
Why would I go to hell?
Why am I going to go to hell? Well, because you don't accept Christ because you're a Jew.
And
I'm like.
And what I used to always say to people is, I always said religion was kind of an early form of government.
Yes.
Right? Because here's the thing. How do you control the people without having any
Tell them if
leverage.
you don't listen,
That's
you
actually
go
true.
to hell.
That's the reason why.
Control
That's
the
why even
masses.
God is still mentioned multiple times
Yeah.
in most laws and even
Because
In
you're
God we
supposed,
trust.
yeah, because ultimately you're supposed to fear.
yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't control people without fear.
Without fear.
You can't control people. Say, hey, everybody can have, whatever the fuck you want. No, you can't
I
control
mean,
people.
jail works fine for me. I don't really need God.
Well, it's
Not
even,
to. I'm just
Well, there's a
saying.
warden in that jail, right?
Tell me I'm going to jail. I'm good, dog.
Even
I ain't killed
outside
nobody yet because I ain't
religion,
trying to go to jail. So.
You're seeing that outside of religion. You're seeing that in day-to-day basis. The media has everyone fearing each other. Fear
Yeah,
your neighbor. Fear, go snitch on this person. Go snitch. It's like fear is the only way to control people. Soon
Yeah.
we're just going to be living in our houses, not going out because we fear everything.
Yeah, and at the same time, I remember that thing that they did in elementary school where you talked in somebody's ear at one end
Oh, telephone.
and all the way at the
telephone
other
game.
end, and a different story came
Yes.
out. Pretty much, that's thousands and thousands of
That's
years.
how the
Wasn't it just
Bible
down the
is.
line?
And
So-
translations. A lot of things get lost in
Yes.
translation.
Well, see, here's my thing about it. Like, and this is what I was telling one of my guys. I believe, like, when you talk about religion to me is like, it's trying to explain where we come from, why we here, and what happens in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in between can be narrated however you see fit, whatever. So even by that standard of, well, I'll get, why not just believe in him, and then when I get there, if he, whatever. There's so many different factions of belief and religion. So even, because you got to look at it like this, the word Jesus, the letter J wasn't invented until the 1500s. So that's like your name Nancy and I'm calling you Elizabeth, and you look at me like, who the fuck is?
Yeah.
So you're calling out to somebody that name doesn't even really exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So things like that is like, we don't know, nobody knows what the right practice is as far as if there is a God, as far as serving the God. So even if you believe that what you're doing is right, there's no definitive answer to what you're doing is right as far as worship or whatever to God. You know what I'm saying? So
I think all we can really get down to is the history of religion and where the Jesus concept comes from. When you talk about, you said faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
In occult belief systems, the only thing that really matters, as they say, is what you believe. Because I can't bring you to where I'm at, and Takia can't bring you to where she's at, right? Whatever you believe at the moment is the only thing that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And some believe, so it's like, I look at it like, okay, what 3,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, before Christianity came into existence, what was the belief system?
That's what I wanted to.
What was it? And there is knowledge on that, which I could expound upon, but the same thing at the time. I'm going back 20,000, 30,000.
I believe there are things in the Bible that were copied from texts previous to the Bible.
It's not even a belief; it's reality. Like,
right?
I went to Kemetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ancient Kemet was ancient Egypt, right? So same thing with the Moses story, right? So I went to a prayer, and they did the actual ancient Kemetic language, which is Medu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went there. I observed the prayer the first time. So it was men and women doing the prayer. You see the temples, right? And they're doing this kind of shape, this kind of movement, flat-legged, 90-degree angles. So I'm just observing them. They have the incense burning. They doing the whole ritual. Ashiad, Wizard, which is what we call Osiris and Isis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Medu language. That's what they spoke in ancient Egypt, Kemet, right?
Right.
Do you know? No lie. I'm just observing them. I'm just observing them.
No, he didn't say it. Just observing the motherfucker.
I'm just observing the motherfuckers. Honestly. What was I thinking? Why did I stop myself?
Right.
I'm trying to be Hotep.
Nobody's safe on this podcast. What are you talking about?
No, it was profound though, because people don't realize that our pineal glands, it's a light that can shine forth, right? I experienced that shit, and I was in a trance-like state just from the motherfucking words, and my shit was like vibrating for like 5 days. Because what people don't know is that their calendar in ancient Egypt was 30 days, 10 months a year, 30 days a month, 10 weekdays. So 3 weeks, 10 days each, and every 5th day they had a ritual. There's prayer, which keeps you in the zone.
Okay.
And that's why they split the calendar up to 7 days, 5 days initially, then 7 days. So it threw us off. So now I'm seeing shit come out I'm seeing this in real life. I'm like, my eyes are like, I could tell it's in a trance-like state. It's rolling back, and I'm looking up, and I'm seeing like energies coming out. After that happened, anybody like your energy, I could just tell who you were way better. And this is a real experience I had. So that's that old time religion. And that's just
and I want to get
that's that. I'm saying so they call it old time. I mean, that's before religion
old time rule.
So that's just an idea. But you look at it like this. I'll tell people a quick anecdote every time to just as a reference point to what this shit really is, right? So people look at Easter, right, and they look at Christmas, right. So you have what's Easter? Fertility, the bunny rabbits, right. So that's in April, right. The women's gestation period is what 270 days, right. Then, what happens? What's 270 days after Easter? After the fertility moment, the ovulation period, right? What happens 270 days later? What time of year is that? That is Christmas, the birth of the sun, right? So it's really a ritualistic, pretty much procession that was celebrating nothing to do with Jesus, because if you look at anybody's moon cycle when you have the time, right? Easter will never be. You know how it goes sometimes it's in March, sometimes in April, right? It will never be before that first full moon after the spring equinox. So if the full moon is late, that first Sunday after March 21st, after that first full moon, is that next Sunday is Easter. If the full moon is late and it's in April, that's when it's April. So what the hell is the full moon cycle got to do with Jesus? If Easter is about Jesus, right? So these are little anecdotes to say what's the shit really about. Yeah. If you look on your calendar, it's all available on your phones. Look at 5 years back. See if Easter is ever before the full moon. And it will never be before the full moon. And this is going back millennia, not just the last 100 years either. So what is it really about, right? And I just feel like, where you're at is correct. Like wherever you are right now, your inquisitiveness, you're right. Right? There's no such thing as being right or wrong, in my opinion.
No, it's not when it comes to that.
Yeah, so that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw in I think religion and science have hand in hand, even though they don't think they do, right? Because without religion, I don't think science could even be, because religion is pretty much what you believed happened, and science is what you're trying to prove, right? So basically, in order to be to do science, you have to have something that you believe is there, in general. So you're just always striving to figure what that is,
Trying to figure some shit out.
So, and if you didn't have faith, regardless, you wouldn't be using science. If you didn't have faith that something was there. Like, why do we find the black hole? How do we do that? Yeah. We only had mathematical equations that proved that it was there. But we didn't know. Nobody's seen it. But what caused us to go out and do it? Because we had faith that it was there. It's still faith.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes back to what Kia was saying, where people feel like once you question their faith, they feel like they're not as strong in their faith. But I don't believe that. I believe that's just human nature to be curious about things and want to seek answers to things.
But in a religious sense, that's definitely not. It's not encouraged. You know what I'm saying? It's not encouraged.
It's encouraged to believe this, don't question it, and follow it.
Listen and follow it. And even if you want to stick to just the biblical text, that's actually in contradiction with exactly what if you believe in Jesus Christ, that's in contradiction to what Jesus Christ said. Said study to show yourself approved. When you study, you ask fucking questions. I ain't never studied and not asked a question. Like, what the fuck? Like, it gotta make sense.
I was waiting for you.
I was gonna say,
I was going. If y'all want to wrap it up, we can. But I had asked another question about it that nobody really could answer, because I was saying basically, if the Holy Bible is a reference to events that were happening, that were being recorded, there's no mention of the Bible in the Bible. So what were the people who, before they were recorded in those events, believing in, or what text did they subscribe to worship God?
They actually went back and did the history of the Bible, and it was scribes after scribes translating it from one language to another. So then they're like, okay, so if you're trying to translate something from, let's say, Russia to English, every word in Russia doesn't really translate into English. So
there's no direct translation.
Right.
Yeah,
so I think
the biggest example is the word love. Like in Greek language or Hebrew language, there's like 7 different definitions, but when it translates to English, it's just love.
So I think like we was talking, and one of the guys was like, somebody told him, if you're able to read the true Bible in the native Hebrew language, things will be more clear to you because it's not translated. It's like pure, unadulterated, the Bible in its pure form.
But if it's
and that would be corrected because it was Aramaic, right? I would look at it like, for me, what?
No, I'm talking about this motherfucker. He kept going. I was like,
we started late anyway, so we're still on time.
We're still good.
We started late.
I mean, put it like this.
we like 2 hours in.
Look, put like this. We're having a very deep conversation and with a limited amount of time, but I would just say this. I threw it out throughout, the Upanishads, those ancient texts, the Bible was not originally written in Hebrew, by the way. And then, it's just like when you just, look at Buddhist texts, look at some of the Ayurvedic mysteries, right? I look at a lot of that kind of stuff. It kind of gives you insight into something else. Like, where are we from? Like, do you believe we're from here? I don't. Most people would say we're from Sirius, right? Are we from this planet? Are we here? Did we come here? Did we come here from this place, or did you come here from another place? Right?
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, we know it's not here. But that goes to faith, right? Like, what do you believe in? All you know is it's kind of like anecdotal, right? We know when you're born, you're coming from somewhere else.
Right.
The void.
You're coming from somewhere, right? The void.
Coming from the matrix.
The nothingness. Where are you coming from?
Well, again. Some of us are coming from nothingness, and some of us aren't.
Don't go towards the white light. That's all I know.
So you gonna give me the white light? We're gonna be here till next Thursday.
No, hold up. I gotta work in the morning.
The white light is a trap.
It is a trap.
I know.
I know about that shit.
It's a trap. Go ahead.
So
I know I was like this little squid thing that swims to an egg. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'm woke, not fake woke. I'm real
You
woke.
woke.
I'm
I see
woke.
that. I'm talking about.
And when you're talking about that clan, the elite has shut it down. That's why we can't vibrate to
But
They have everyone
but
burned
that
down.
prayer didn't run one
Joe
time.
has found another.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Joe
sorry.
has found another.
We'll talk about this off camera. But I'm ready to go.
Sorry.
Nancy wears tin hats. Now let's end this.
This is episode 114
And I'm
of
proud
our
of it.
podcast.
We said a lot.
Today's not the
good
night.
luck
It's
naming this
114. Go ahead, my bad.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna name this. I mean, I got a couple of things in mind, but I don't know.
Constellation contemplation.
Deep thoughts with
The
Jack
last
Candy.
slide right into the end of the show.
See that? Great topic, Josh.
Deep thoughts.
Send that to me.
Oh,
Yeah, Oz, that was a good one, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That was good. Send that to me, Oz. But yeah, man, like I said, it was a good episode. Appreciate, I guess, that we had Nancy. Thank you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? You got
Nancy no pants.
Oh Lord.
Nancy no pantsy.
Oh yeah, you got to come back again. Definitely got to tell us about them college stories. And since you did have, a previous like radio show talking about sexual topics.
Damn, we ain't even talk about squirting.
Oh shit!
Nah, it's too late.
Damn.
We'll say that.
Oh no, that's your fault.
Hey, y'all didn't remind me. So.
I ain't gotta remind you, dickhead.
I think his
No,
topic was better.
Do we have 10 minutes?
His topic, no, his topic was better.
No,
than
actually,
squirting.
to be honest,
You did it.
She brought up squirting, and then you really wanted to talk about your subject, so it was kind of your
Oh
fault.
no! Oh, mine was just trying to get Dave Chappelle shit out of the way. After that, I was done. Yeah. Then he wanted to talk about weirdos at work.
Last topic was good. So,
I like it.
So are you saying that next week you want to have a whole sex show?
Hey, I'm with that. I'm with that.
We're actually
totally sex.
No, we're due for it. It's been a while since we did.
I'm good with that.
Because I can't talk about squirting and then stop talking about squirting.
Exactly.
I can talk about other shit in the sexual.
Once you turn that faucet on, you can't turn it off.
Exactly.
No, you run out. You run the fuck out.
Can you run out?
Yes.
Drink more lemon juice. Drink more lemon juice.
I'm going to sleep.
This was
That's it.
This was the Unfamous
Shop
Podcast,
closed. Leave me
episode 114. It's your boy Sean, Mr. NJ Brick City.
Kenny Hardaway.
Just cute.
Nancy No Pants.
Tasty Jake.
Joe Cool. Just before you.
I hate him. Every time.
Mr. Unreal Friction.
Man, that was so rapey.
Creepy as shit.
Find something else.
Only because
I was about to say, if it don't glide, then they shouldn't be in.
Astroglide.
Yeah, that shit gonna hurt you.
It's ribbed.
What? Goodbye.
Hey, I never
Okay, that's the Unfamous Podcast, yo. I'll let y'all later, alright? Thank you. Peace.
Good night.
Peace.
Bro, you are fucking disgusting.